Sports Talk and at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Good morning and happy Tuesday to everybody out there. I am Jake Balkovin in for Jake Sorensen today. Jake Sorensen had a nice little trip. He's still has a travel day today, so he will be back in with you tomorrow and ready to go as ever. But for now, I'm in here with Steve Sipple, and we are ready to have a nice show. It's one of my favorite times of the year because preseason football magazines are out. And although they might be a little bit, I'll have to ask you: are they dated? I'm sure Marcus Washington edition probably isn't in there. I mean, they got to go they got to print it at some point and send it out.
They did a pretty good job. Good morning, by the way, Bach, and Gus, our producer, is back in tow. He worked the Big Ten tournament in Omaha, so we were with him for most of last week. Bach,
did you have him last week then?
We did not. We had him. We had him up until Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Or up until Tuesday. Then Wednesday on. He was in Omaha.
What did you think? I know we'll get to that in a little bit. But
get to what in a little bit?
The Big Ten tournament. I like it being in Omaha. I liked it. Obviously the crowds would have been bigger if Nebraska would have been there. So there is that. But I don't know. Do you still like it being in Omaha? I think it's kind of cool. I know Onweiler takes whenever the chance is, if it's in Omaha, he'll go.
Yes, Mark Onweiler.
Yeah.
Our what do you call him? Our station manager.
Yeah.
He takes off and goes to that thing. I think it's a good idea to do that. By the way,
I wonder if he stayed for the late games because they go pretty late. At least they did this year.
He was essentially on vacation. Did he? Oh yeah, Gus doesn't know.
Oh yeah, he's just saying that was
okay.
Late.
So what we're gonna do for planning's sake here, Bach, instead of Robin, who's in Wyoming on vacation, didn't know if I was supposed to tell the world that. Hopefully nobody's listening.
He's somewhere.
Robin's not around today, so instead we'll have Gus on in that 7:20 segment, 7:25, whatever that is. Talk about what he saw or didn't see.
Yeah.
In Omaha at the Big Ten tournament. You didn't see Nebraska.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
What was that noise I just made?
Yeah.
Bach. So is that a plan?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Also, I did want to, before we get into the preseason magazines, because I know it's all the countdown to Nebraska playing Northwestern, right? And I know it's under 100 days and people are kind of getting their countdowns ready. I was kind of thinking about this over the weekend. Do you like the week 0 games? Because it's kind of throwing it off. I was actually listening back to a segment I had, and it was really confusing because, like I said, I kept going, this is week 3 college football. It's the 4th game for Nebraska, obviously, because they play in week 0. So it kind of throws off everything in an alignment there. But I think that it's a great opportunity as Nebraska will be on Fox. That's Big Fox. That's not FS1. That's not BTN. So it's like, for those that love college football and dive into it, in each of the last 2 years, you've got a Big Ten game, and maybe in the future wouldn't have to be, but I always think week 0 is a great branding opportunity. Hawaii plays in it every year, so I kind of look for it. It's kind of weird.
Hawaii does?
Yeah.
Really?
So maybe you have to be like a college football nerd to really get into it. But for me, I think it's a unique opportunity that Nebraska didn't necessarily plan for, like they had to do week 0 last year because the plan was to go to Ireland last season. So they just kind of rolled it over. But I know Frost doesn't like it, but I think it's good for branding. I think it's good for marketing. It's good for eyes because like last year you kind of followed along the Nebraska season because all those games were on national TV. This year without the benefit of a lot of great games, you're not going to get as many nationally televised broadcast games on ABC or Fox or ESPN. You'll get this a good bunch, but the more on there, the better. And I think, I'm not sure if Nebraska, Illinois, and Nebraska Northwestern gets that type of recognition otherwise.
No, I think you're right. Excuse me. And I think if you think back, Bill Moose, the AD who arranged this, essentially, he said exactly what you did. That this is a brand enhancer. This is putting Nebraska in front of the nation. So it's exactly what you said. But Bach, it depends on where you come from, what angle you're coming at this from, as to whether you want this. You would certainly understand why Frost wouldn't be in favor of this.
Just because it's a week early?
Because it's a pain in the, you know what?
Well, you don't necessarily always have to fly halfway around the world.
I will
to do
say,
it,
right. I will say this. I think it's better for Nebraska to play Northwestern in Dublin than it is to play them in Evanston. Hello?
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. I think
well, that field isn't kind to anybody.
No, right. Northwestern has the same travel issues, the same challenges that you have. Northwestern doesn't have a coach with his back against the wall, though.
Yeah.
Northwestern can go there and enjoy it a little bit more than Scott Frost and his staff. Players, they can enjoy it. Although, if you've listened to Frost, I mean, he's made it pretty clear this is not a sightseeing tour. They're going out there to play a game, which that's what you have to do. This Dublin thing is nice, but it ain't nice if they come back here with an L.
No.
And then we're not talking about, oh, it's really nice going to Dublin and playing. No, it's not. It's only nice going to Dublin and playing if you win, especially if you're Frost, whose back is against the wall. No, you'd rather. I mean, I guess the game wasn't going to be in Lincoln.
Yeah.
In a sense, I think it's better. In a sense, it's better to get him in Dublin than at Ryan Field. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, at least you don't like you said, Nebraska's a big enough brand already. You can see the brand where it carries over, and it is in that they're not going to give a home game to go play in Dublin or to play on a Friday night. So I mean, these kind of different opportunities that they're getting are always going to be on away games because you don't want to give up what Nebraska brings in or a Michigan brings in or Ohio State brings in. These games, they don't do these offsite games, but I think that it's at least, I mean, it adds a spark to the game. Certainly. I think it's cool. In the past, I've kind of poo-pooed it or just said, like honestly, if I I can watch Nebraska here. If I go to Ireland, I might want to do more Ireland things. So I think that's part of the challenge is, kind of getting putting enough time. It's not like most people are going to go over there for 2 or 3 days. You got to take some extended time off, but I think it'll be very cool, very unique. I don't know if it's great for the football team as far as as far as like in the best interest of starting 1-0, because it can be a major distraction.
It might be better.
But
the optimum is playing them in Lincoln and beating them 56-7 again under the lights. That's the optimum,
right?
But you didn't have that. You're going to play them either at Ryan Field or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, now you didn't want to probably play them at Wrigley or anything like that, which was never on the table. But yeah, Dublin. I don't want to do this. You don't want Frost. You don't want to give Frost you don't want to make an excuse for him. All I'm saying, Bach, is think about it in the context of what Nebraska's facing, putting in a new offense, all these new coaches, all these new faces. And, oh, by the way, you're starting it all off in Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah.
That's not ideal.
No.
All right. It's not ideal. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not ideal. You got to work around it. But my guess is they're not going to do a lot of jacking around in Dublin. Well, yeah. I know they're not. Frost has talked about it. They're only going to do two things, really.
And you don't have time, really, to even enjoy it afterwards. That would be nice if you had the bye week, I suppose.
No, you got to get back.
Yeah.
You play a 2:30 game the next week.
Yeah.
See, this is what I mean. Think about if you came back and had to play an 11 a.m. game that next week, which was possible, but you're going to play North Dakota at 2:30 on a BTN. That's a BTN game,
Yeah.
by the way, which is fine. Yeah, you would prefer a week off.
Yeah, you would think so.
Wouldn't you prefer a week off?
Yeah, I think
no
so.
week off. no.
No.
You're coming back. You're getting on that bird and coming back.
Yeah.
And your week is kind of messed up. You know, my week will be messed up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll almost have to get used to having just messed up weeks because they're gonna play on 2 separate Fridays, a Dublin game. You know, that's a fourth of your season right there. That's already kind of tilted. Now, granted, one of those is always on Black Friday, but I know Kirk Ferentz doesn't like that. I mean, it makes it, throws a wrench into the schedule. It's difficult. But yeah, that's where that is. I also did want to mention this too, is because it kind of upsets me, and you have to be again maybe really really into it to get upset about these things. But when I was growing up, and I'm sure at the same time for you guys before, it was Nebraska, Oklahoma on Thanksgiving Day or whatever on ABC. And now, for Nebraska, Colorado, it was always, on ABC, national televised, like I'm talking about the brand of Nebraska. Last couple of years, it's a BTN game. Does that bother you at all for Nebraska and Iowa to be more of a BTN game than it kind of, to me, I always thought like Nebraska, Black Friday, tradition, the nation kind of feels that.
Oh yeah, I understand what you're
and now that it's on BTN, even though I think it set the record for a BTN viewing audience, so it's like it still could be a big draw, and that's why maybe I would push the major networks to look into it a little bit more. But I just feel a little bit slighted, I guess, by that.
Last year's game set the record for a BTN broadcast.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. I was a little taken aback by that. Do I feel personally slighted? No. Am I a little surprised that they pushed Nebraska, Iowa to that? Yes. Sean Callahan alluded to it in one of his columns. He said that Fox that day has USA England, and he said in USA England playing earlier in the day, and I guess we're talking about soccer.
Yeah.
He didn't say. USA and England is doing something that same day. I don't know what that would be. Some sort of soccer match.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I will tell you this. Chris is patiently waiting, Bach.
Yeah.
Chris from the Baldwin shop.
Yeah.
Is patiently waiting. So let's get to him.
Yeah. Let's get to Chris here on the Honda of Lincoln Hotline. Chris, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Jake, Steve. How are you guys this morning? Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend.
You too, amigo. How are you doing? What's on your mind?
Well, Steve, just, had Friday off and have today off, actually. Just got in from my morning jog and turned you guys on, and it's great to hear Jake in the pinch hitting for the other Jake this morning. Well, Steve, Jake, you mentioned the preseason magazines, which I always pick all of them up. Now, last year and before the pandemic, they would always come out about a week before Memorial Day, because I used to pick them up about, I'm guessing around May 20th to May 25th. Now, this year, the only one I've been able to pick up Friday, I was at Barnes & Noble, and Lindy's had their magazine out, but I did not see Athlon's. And Phil Steele's always comes out a little later. And Street & Smith, I don't know if they're even publishing the magazine anymore. But I'm wondering, Steve, Jake, if this little delay isn't because of the transfer portal and they're trying to get as much information as they can in on these magazines by print time.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the case. For instance, Nebraska's did make mention of Devin Drew. It did not make mention of Stephon Wynn or obviously Marcus Washington. Hey, Chris, I think it diminishes the value of them. I mean, you're not getting a full picture on some of the teams. But, Nebraska, no Big Ten team had more transfer portal activity than Nebraska.
Exactly, Steve. And we kind of know thanks to you guys, we kind of know what's going on here in the Omaha and Lincoln papers. We kind of know what's going on here. But, the Big Ten, the way now Sam McEwen had a good article yesterday in the Omaha paper about the pieces, Steve, we talked about this about a month ago.
Okay.
The pieces that in a short span of time. I mean, it's really going to be a challenge for the staff, and you got new coaches too. Jake, it's the puzzle is if they can get it together, more power to them. But boy, I tell you what worries me is they haven't figured this thing out in the first four years, and now they got 6 months to figure out. 3 months now from right now, less than 3 months, to figure out how they're going to plug in these pieces. And I do believe they have some talent over there. You were talking about the Northwestern game in Iowa or in Ireland. I just don't think that Northwestern, Steve, Jake, that team was not very good last year. And I don't know if what they have coming back, if they have anything in the transfer portal. It doesn't sound like it.
Much.
But I see no reason why Nebraska shouldn't win that game and win it by maybe a couple of touchdowns. But stranger things have happened. Oklahoma, they're in a position of rebuilding. I think a little bit. New coaching staff. It's probably a good time to catch them, especially on our home field. It's really going to be an interesting year, and we said this before. We said this last year that we thought that Illinois game to start out the year last year was very important, and I think to get off on a good start against Northwestern is just as important this year. And the schedule plays out pretty good. We'll see what happens. But Jake, Steve, great show. You guys enjoy the weather today. It sounds like it's going to be a nice day, and keep up the good information for us.
Thank you
All
for
right,
your
thank you.
call,
Yeah.
Chris. We appreciate that. Northwestern, I don't think has much. So Chris from the Baldwin Shop talked about getting his Lindy's magazine. I got a Lindy's magazine in front of me. Here's what it says about Northwestern. They run down the conference picks quickly.
Yeah.
By the way, you want the West?
Yeah. I'm interested.
Lindy's picks Wisconsin to win the West.
Yeah, that sounds predictable.
Picks Iowa second.
Sounds about right.
Picks Purdue third. Hello?
Interesting.
Hello.
Interesting.
Picks Nebraska fourth.
Wow, these guys aren't big PJ Fleck fans.
Thank you, Bach. Yeah, I was shocked they put Minnesota fifth.
Yeah, I mean, they have to rebuild that whole offensive line, but they've got some good running backs behind there. Tanner Morgan's like a 7th-year senior.
Yeah, he's 38. Minnesota's fifth. Northwestern is sixth. Illinois is seventh. Okay,
Wow.
so when they're doing this in this little section of the magazine, they put good news for each team, bad news for each team, and then our call, Lindy's magazine. On the good news section for Northwestern, here's what it says, Bach. Here's what it says, quote, "We're thinking, give us a minute. Hold on."
Oh, jeez. Not even a Pat Fitzgerald shout out there?
No.
Okay.
This is what it says in the our call part. Northwestern won the West in the last 2 even-numbered years. Look for that string to end. So they're not high on Northwestern. Here's what it says about Nebraska. Excuse me. The good news for Nebraska, it says a couple key Big 12 transfers. QB Casey Thompson, defensive end O'Shawn Mathis. You could add Devin Drew to that list. They didn't. Bad news for Nebraska, the offensive line isn't up to snuff, and special teams are abysmal. And then our call, under the our call section for Lindy's, it says, you hear that? It's the clock ticking on Scott Frost's career. Jeez.
Man, these quick notes are brutal.
Brutal. Now, the offensive line isn't up to snuff, it says about Nebraska. I don't know about that, by the way. And I don't know if special teams will be abysmal. I mean, they brought in Timmy Bleekrode and Brian Buscini and a new special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
They have been abysmal, and the offensive line has struggled. I think I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure the offensive line is bad.
Yeah, but it has to be. I mean, while those things might improve, they have to be your biggest concerns, right?
That's a good question. What are your biggest concerns now? Is the defensive line no longer your biggest concern?
Maybe some depth issues, but you certainly can run out some starters there.
Yeah, depth issues for sure, though.
Yeah.
And I think, you feel much better about the D line. Now, before all the transfer portal activity, I would have said the D line was the biggest concern. But now bringing on Stephon Wynn from Alabama, and Devin Drew from Texas Tech, and O'Shawn Mathis from TCU, I don't look at it so much as the problem area.
Yeah.
The Nebraska's fortified itself pretty well in the trenches. Let's get to Dave. Can we get to Dave?
Yeah, I did want to mention this because I saw Sean did write this too. Is that Taylor Lewis is not going to visit?
Taylor
anymore?
Lewis is the JUCO defensive lineman, California JUCO defensive lineman, College of the Canyons. It looks like he's going to Arkansas. It looks like he's picking Arkansas.
Yeah, because he was scheduled. He was going to visit Arkansas, then scheduled to visit Nebraska, but now has since dismissed the visit to Nebraska. That means they're probably out of the running.
Let's see what Dave has.
Let's see if Dave is there. Is this Dave?
Dave.
We might have lost Dave.
Did we lose Dave?
We might have lost Dave.
Did we lose Dave?
All right, Dave. Well, give us a call back.
Do you want the East? Do you want the East Lindy's picks?
Yeah. I think I can predict the first one.
Drum roll, please. Drum roll. There's only one interest. Well, here's what it is. Ohio State, of course.
Yeah.
Right. I'd say they are the prohibitive favorite in the East. Come on.
Yeah. As almost year in and year out. I mean,
yeah. Jim Harbaugh right now saying, "Hey, wait a second." Jim Harbaugh's Michigan Wolverines are picked second by Lindy's in the East. No surprise, right? Now he's got two new coordinators, by the way. I watched that. Number 3, Bach, is it Michigan State or Penn State?
I'm gonna guess that the magazines usually love Penn State.
Be
I'm not peeking. I'm gonna guess Penn State because the magazines like Penn State.
Michigan State's 3.
Okay.
Yes, somewhat surprised by that.
Yeah. I don't know if I see that, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
I like Peyton Thorne. They looked good in the bowl game without Kenneth Walker.
They did.
But it's interesting, too, because, their head coach is a defensive-minded coach. That's not exactly their strength last year. Mm-hmm. Is that going to get better? Is that going to improve along the way? You would think so. But I'm not sure.
All our friends are calling. Okay,
yeah.
East, Ohio State 1, Michigan 2, Michigan State 3, Penn State 4. Keep in mind, Penn State in the last 2 seasons, Bach, is 11-11.
Yeah.
Hello?
And lost their defensive coordinator, Brent Pry.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
So
Brent Pry went to Virginia Tech to be the head coach.
Yeah, and actually, now I'm going to forget who it is. Manny Diaz is their defensive coordinator, the former Miami coach.
It's not bad at all.
And, I mean, his head coaching career, you can kind of make jokes at, but he's been a really good defensive coordinator for quite some time.
Okay, Penn State 4. Who do you think's 5?
Let's see. What am I down to? Indiana and Rutgers and Maryland?
Yep.
I'm going to go with Maryland.
You got it.
Yeah.
Maryland 5. It says Loxley has plenty of weapons on what should be one of the Big Ten's better offenses. Hello. Maryland 5. Indiana 6. And Rutgers 7. There you go.
Yeah, sounds about right. So, there's some surprises there. That's not exactly how I pick my divisions, though.
So
sadly, this is the last year, perhaps, of division picks.
Right.
At least to me, I like divisions.
Yes. Bach. We found common ground.
Yeah.
I am shocked sometimes how quickly people are to dismiss the divisions. We got a lot of friends on the line, though.
Yeah, we better get some friends.
Vince, Dave, and Bob are waiting. Wow.
Let's go to Dave because we already hung up on Dave. Dave, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. I got disconnected.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hey, morning, guys. Hey,
that's okay.
Steve, Jake, I think that's a World Cup soccer match.
Is it? Okay. So there's
in USA. Yeah, on that day, on that Saturday. I think it's
Friday.
World Cup soccer match.
Dave, Black Friday.
Hey,
it's Black Friday.
Hey, Hey, kudos to Michigan
Okay.
in the Big Ten. They won their 10th Big Ten championship this year in sports
Baseball.
Okay,
The
yeah,
10th.
all in sports.
Baseball tournament.
over a calendar year. You know how many Nebraska has since they've entered the Big Ten in 2011?
I don't know.
They have, I think, 9, Steve. And Michigan has 55 total since Nebraska entered the Big Ten. 55 Big Ten championships, and Nebraska has 9. Michigan beat that with their 10th this year.
Yeah,
I
the
think
baseball tournament.
3 of those 9, I think, are in track, men's track. But that's incredible. 10 big championships in 1 year.
Baseball
That's amazing.
tournament. Yeah, they won the Big Ten baseball tournament.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Yeah, that's
thanks.
yeah.
So he's talking about the
Altogether championships, I think.
right, and he's talking about. He mentioned England, USA soccer. He's talking about Black Friday.
Yeah.
So that's why Nebraska Iowa gets pushed to 3:00.
And maybe why push to BTN.
Yeah, basically a night game.
Yeah, it will be by the end of it.
Yeah, sunset that night, according to Sean Callahan's column, 4:30, 4:39, 4:29, whatever, 4:30. That's when the sun goes down.
I love Black Friday games. I don't care what channel it's on. I just can't wait for that.
Okay, should we go to Vince?
Let's go to Bob. I think Bob is more likely to be on the line. We'll try Vince here in a second. Bob, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Bob, what's up? What's up, Bob?
Hey, well, I heard you guys talking about the offensive line and that. I don't think it's going to be a problem this year. I look for that to be more physical this year and getting after it this year. I look for the defensive line to get after it too. And I like what we've got. So, I mean, that's fine. Let us go to 4,
Okay.
We're not going to be there at the end of the year. We're going to be on top at the end of the year. We're not going to be in the middle. We're not going to be below. We're going to be on top.
Okay.
So let everybody just think we're not going to do nothing, and let's just take it on. And and people that don't want to be on and don't want to get on with the team now, you know what? The train's going to pass you by, and we're going to wave bye-bye. And we're not taking no hitchhikers.
Right, there's Bob. Bob, the eternal optimist.
Yes,
I think
yes.
he believes in a potentially undefeated season. So
Bob has said Nebraska will run the table.
yeah.
Vince.
Are you there, Vince?
Hey, Sip. Yes, hey, Sip, Jake.
Vince, God bless you. How are you?
I'm all right. I mean, ready to go back to work today after a 3-day weekend, but we're alive and well.
Good. That's what we're doing. Let's just get it going. It's Tuesday, not Monday. Remember that.
Heck yeah, we're gonna get it going. But as far as the preseason magazines, I mean, it used to be. I mean, for the longest time, it was a ritual of mine. I mean, I would go out and get all of them, everything from Lindy's to Street and Smith to to Sporting News. But what kind of makes it hard now, to your point earlier, is the transfer portal, and you definitely wonder how up to date all of that stuff is. And because in the past you could count on everything being up to date because it was before the transfer portal was truly a way of life like it is now. But but again, it's but as far as going to Ireland, I mean, I see it like this, and like we've talked about before. I mean, Nebraska needs a strong start just from a confidence standpoint because we've had 5 straight losing seasons, 6 out of the last 7, because they need something tangible, to put out there that they can get the job done. And I'm going to go back to an old Joe Gibbs quote. There's failures. Failures are accepted by losers and not mentioned by winners. And and the thing is that Nebraska has had nothing but failure the last 5 years, which is exactly why I think right now is probably the best time to have a transfer-heavy class. I mean, I mean, again, it's not the way I want to build a program, but that's probably the best way to do it right now because you can go up to any one of the transfers, whether it's Casey Thompson, whether it's O'Shawn Mathis or whoever, and say, well, we've had 5 straight losing seasons. They can look at you and say, yeah, but it hasn't happened when I've been here. But but as far as the 2, it's our calls from Lindy's, special teams are abysmal. Well, I would certainly hope they're not going to be abysmal this year, just by the mere fact that you actually have a coach who's dedicated to that. I mean, there's only one way to go, and that's and we know what that is. And because even if special teams, hold serve, I mean, that's worth a couple of wins right there. I mean, offensive line, I don't know if I'd say it's abysmal, but there's no question about it, that it needs to get back up to speed. But you know what? But I'll tell you one thing, Sip.
Oh, yes, what is that?
And I'll tell you one thing, Bach. This season has to start out one way when you go to Ireland.
Yeah.
You go there, and you kick their ass from the first play of the game to the last.
Oh, my goodness. He's good.
We're bloody knuckles! Yeah!
I'm gonna have to cut you off. I think you're being safe there, but I don't want to risk it.
He's fine. That's Vince.
All right.
Fine.
He's getting fired up. He's getting into it.
He's in Napa Valley. He's in Napa Valley. He's got kids, and he's got a wife.
Yeah, he woke somebody up. Woke the neighbors up.
He's in his garage. He's in his garage.
Yeah.
So everything is safe. I don't know what the deal is. It is Tuesday after a long weekend, and we got 4 callers in the first segment.
That's right.
God bless you, Vince, Bob, Chris, and Dave. Vince, Bob, Chris, and Dave have helped us get off to a strong start.
Absolutely.
We have so much to talk about. It's unbelievable. It's what is today? It's May
31st, the last day of May.
The last day of May. It's May 31st. I'll be damned.
Yeah.
All right.
Preseason magazines are out. It's that time.
What do you want to go with next there, Bob?
We might just continue this.
Let's continue it.
I do have a couple thoughts on special teams and offensive line.
Let's continue the football discussion. We'll get to the Celtics later.
Yeah, let's talk Husker football next year on Early Break.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff at brokersinsurancene.com.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Yo, it's the captain, Rashawn Jackson. Join me this Wednesday at Wingstop at 50th and O Street from 11 to 2 for Husker Sports Talk and, most importantly, wings. That's Wednesday. at Wingstop at 50th and O Street, the official sponsor of the Captain. Order wings ahead at wingstop.com. See you there.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jake on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, the last day of May, as we about to turn the clocks over to June. Well, not the clocks. We don't have to deal with that business anymore. I think we're just not doing it. That whole like losing an hour and all that
Time
stuff
zone
after once. Yeah,
stuff.
times. I don't know. Anyways,
Daylight savings time is what you're
daylight
alluding
savings time. Yeah, that's the words. It's early in the morning also for me, so I'm
Wake up,
adjusting.
Bach.
Yeah, I try to.
up.
Let's continue. You guys like talking Husker football? Man, let's just talk some more Husker football. We got people calling, yelling, riled up, getting going. The game's still not for a few months, but we can still get excited for it, and we are. Let's continue with our talk about preseason magazines. Again, my favorite time of the year. I think there's been some talk about maybe them being a little less updated than before, and they certainly are, but they were always kind of that way too. There's always an addition here or there in the summer. Somebody gets in trouble. So, I mean, there's always something that happens. I really use them for a basis too when I look back and just say, okay, how many returning starters? When it gets into mid-season, returning starters might not matter as much, but you can just kind of see where teams start from and what the expectations were and, what the problems were expected to be. So it'll be kind of fun to follow that throughout the year. And I can't say enough how much I love these things. So let's get
express your love.
It's very strange, but again, I collected every one of these. I have every one since I think like 1999. I might not have like 2002 or something like that.
What happened in
There's one I
2002,
missed.
Bob?
I had it. I'd lost it. So I'll pay you. If somebody has one, I'll have to look for the exact year it was, but I'll pay you $12 as much as a new one.
I guarantee you there's somebody out there that has a 2002 preseason.
Oh, yeah. I need it for my collection.
Hey, Bach, I'm like you in a way. I definitely keep one with me all the time. Sean Callahan bought this one yesterday. I happened to see Sean, and I just took it.
Nice.
I just took it. But I intend, I hope if he's listening, I intend to go to Barnes & Noble today and buy another one for him.
Well, you should just give him this one since you
I marked it.
Yeah, you ripped it.
I marked it all up. It's ripped. But I'm like you. I keep it in my bag all the time for reference.
Yeah.
And Lindy's I find to be very good. Now, Tom Dienhart handles the Big Ten stuff.
Does he now?
Yeah, Tom Dienhart handles the big stuff for Lindy's. Now, I trust Tom Dienhart.
Oh, yeah.
Dienhart, Sporting News for a long time, works for Rivals, now covers Purdue.
Yeah, especially the Purdue stuff should be
right
just
on. Pretty accurate. Yeah. But if you read, let's just get into this. If you read Nebraska, if you read their section in Lindy's, it's perfect. He doesn't mess anything up. Before we get to that, will Nebraska fans be surprised who's on the cover in Lincoln, Nebraska's Lindy's?
I think so. And it again speaks, I think, volumes to what this whole transition is all about, right? Because go through the names that you would think would be on that. For the past 4 years, it's been Adrian Martinez. A lot of times it's the quarterback or a standout player.
Amir.
You think about who would be a standout player that's returning, and there's just not a whole lot of choices as far as who would be that guy.
It's sort of, when you think about it that way, it's sort of scary, right? There's no obvious star.
Oh, where this team would be without the transfer portal is very scary.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have a whole lot of momentum of guys that were much proven. I don't want to diminish some of these guys because I think that there's a few guys. I could see a Luke Reimer
being on the cover. Yes, that would be.
But the list is pretty short, right?
You could see a Garrett Nelson.
Yeah,
being on the cover.
Yeah.
Again, list short.
Yeah.
On offense, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're pushing it to get a.
Well, it is on
Omar or
the guy. The guy who is on the cover is on offense.
Yeah.
So on the cover of Lindy's, when you go to Barnes & Noble today, you will see Ramir Johnson on the cover. Good for Ramir, by the way.
And I think it's also
good for Ramir.
Yeah,
that makes
good for
me
Ramir.
happy.
Yeah,
that makes me happy for him.
Especially a year ago at this time, he's 4th on the depth chart, right?
Oh
so
yeah,
what a turnaround.
You better go to Barnes and Noble and get some of these because you know who's going to be over there buying them all up is Ramir Johnson.
That's right.
Ramir will go over there and clean the rack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he should.
That's what I
start handing them out to his friends.
It's especially his girlfriend.
Oh yeah, or girlfriend. We don't know what's going on there.
Well, yeah, it could be. That's true. Anyway, Ramir Johnson graces the cover. Now, Lindy's does. They do an all Big Ten team, and they actually do 3 teams. On the first 2 teams, it's not. I almost say this in hushed tones. On the first 2 teams, Nebraska has just one player, and that is Luke Reimer.
Okay, yeah.
Linebacker Luke Reimer. Okay. On the third team, Nebraska does have a player, Garrett Nelson. Oh, they have Ty Robinson too. Okay, I'm sorry. Ty Robinson and Garrett Nelson both made the third team. Ty Robinson and Garrett Nelson. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got 3 defenders on the team.
Defenders, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody on the first team. Ohio State, 7 on the first team between offense and defense.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just Reimer made the first 2 teams. He's a second team linebacker. And then on the third team, I'm sorry, I indicated it was just Garrett Nelson. It's Garrett Nelson and Ty Robinson.
So at least 3 guys in your front 7 there.
Yeah, they're represented. They're represented that way. In the body of when on the section where they focus on Nebraska, I thought it was somewhat interesting. Some of the things that Tom Dienhart wrote. He did have good insight. He said, this was interesting, by the way. I want to see if you agree with this, Bach. This is what Dienhart wrote in Lindy's magazine about Nebraska. What the Huskers might be best at is running the ball, and they have a deep, interesting stable of backs. Frost noted improved downhill running in spring practice. That's true.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good information from Dienhart. That became a theme during the spring that Bob alluded to it.
Yeah.
Caller Bob. That the offensive line in run blocking situations was good. They ran the ball well all spring.
And now let's keep in mind it was a thin defensive line they were going up against.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to go overboard in that discussion.
Right.
But I know they feel good. I know Nebraska feels good about its running backs. And the name, there's a name that gets forgotten that you can't forget because he's getting healthy. Gabe Ervin.
Mm-hmm.
I always talk about it like it's going to be Anthony Grant, Jaquez Yant, and Ramir, the cover boy.
Yeah.
But you cannot forget about Gabe Ervin in that conversation. Do not forget Gabe Ervin because they are not forgetting Gabe Ervin. Gabe Ervin could be the starter. He could be the starter. I think it'll be Anthony Grant. I think they're counting on Anthony Grant, but they're also counting on Gabe Ervin. And if you got 4, and I love Ramir, I do not leave. I'm glad he's on the cover. I don't leave him out of any discussion, but I think he's more of a, what do you call him? You want to call him specialty?
Some people would say a third down back.
I guess I hate saying that, but I get it.
But he could do. He can do it all.
Yeah, you can work.
I think what people see is a limited upside. I guess I think they feel like they've seen the most of like what you're going to get out of Ramir.
Yeah, I hate to do that.
I'm
not doing that.
I don't know if I don't know if I agree. I think that he's getting a little bit overlooked now. Like you said, if he's on the cover. So it depends on where you look to see if he's overlooked or not. But Whipple, remember when he came in, I always go back to Whipple saying, man, that guy shows out on tape.
He can catch the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Think about that catch he made against Michigan over the shoulder.
He had some big plays.
He got good hands. He's got good hands. Okay, what else do they say about Nebraska? Here's what he says about Casey Thompson, he meaning Tom Dienhart. The Texas transfer ended spring as the front runner. if not a mortal lock for the starting job because of his experience. Florida State transfer Chubba Purdy, Logan Smothers, and Heinrich Harburg will continue to compete with Thompson in the fall. I'm not putting mortal lock on Thompson. I'm not putting mortal lock.
Who do you think's pushing him?
Chubba.
Purdy?
Chubba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Logan.
Well, I mean, Logan maybe can put himself into that position, but right now, coming out of spring, going into August camp, no, it's Casey Thompson, number one. I get that, but there's no way I'd call him a mortal lock. He's still got to win the job.
Yeah.
And
Purdy, is getting healthy. About to jump into it.
They like Purdy.
Yeah, you don't just add him to the team if you didn't see something there.
No, exactly. So I'm not going with that whole mortal lock thing on Casey Thompson. I will not do that. I think the first 2 weeks of August are important for him.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too is I can't wait to see what this offense looks like and how much they run Casey Thompson, basically, is what I'm getting at, like designed runs. Texas didn't do that a whole lot with him. He's mobile, but not, that's not the strength of his game. He'll pick up 15 yards if you leave it there. But he's not going to be a guy that can take too many hits. All that to be said is that, that was a lot of Scott Frost's running game. And we heard that, the running game is still going to be a lot on Frost. And again, I mean, he can do RPOs. He can, he can take some read options and take some hits, but he's not Adrian's size.
No, he's not.
I think there's and Adrian got dinged up. So I think there's a potential you might see, if not for a quarter, a couple games, whatever it is, the backup quarterback have to lead you to a win this season.
Yeah, could be. Okay. What else does Lindy's magazine say about Nebraska? Here's what they say, Buck. One of the things this is what they say about the defense. The strength of the defense should be the linebackers. The outside linebacker duo of Caleb Tanner and Garrett Nelson combined for 17 tackles for loss and 7 sacks. Luke Reimer is a force on the inside. Sometimes I don't think of it maybe like I should. The linebacker core is very good.
Oh, yeah.
It is. That's a good bunch of linebackers. Now, the inside guys got to stay healthy. That's Reimer and Heinrich are good players who have been injury prone. But if they stay healthy, Reimer had 108 tackles last year.
Yeah.
If they stay healthy, you're tough inside.
They both had games of like 15 plus tackles.
Yeah. And Tanner and Nelson are just good. They've become men.
Yeah.
Good to good plus Big Ten players. If Tanner's used correctly, more of an outside linebacker, not his hand in the ground, face up on a 340-pound Big Ten tackle. If he's used more as an OLB, Tanner could break out.
Do you think
now I'm a huge Caleb Tanner
Yeah.
fan. I tell Jake that every day virtually.
Very disruptive. Unfortunately, a lot of his disruptive plays last year didn't get like put down in the stats, like there was a foul or something, but you could see it, right? Yeah, so he's flashing. That's interesting though. So do you think if they're a lot of talk of moving to the 4-3, that kind of leaves one of those guys more outside linebacker, one of those guys more defensive end? You think Garrett Nelson's better served for the defensive end portion?
No question.
Yeah.
No question. And you know what, Bach? They bulked him up. That's what they're doing. That's the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Garrett Nelson. I mean, they bulked him up. His neck is like a tree trunk.
Nice.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think they're doing.
Yeah, that's interesting and fascinating. I think that sometimes we get lost in all the new stuff and don't maybe appreciate the linebackers returning. That front seven, it's good to hear. They're well represented in the all Big Ten, first 3 teams, but unfortunately, not a whole lot of representation outside of that.
Are we going to the Celtics now?
We're gonna do song of the day. I'm gonna wake everybody up. This is gonna definitely wake you up. And then maybe we'll talk some Celtics after that.
Song of the day next.
Yep.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine today. It'll be a little bit breezy as well. We'll see a high around 80. Tonight, partly cloudy skies are expected with a low of around 52. And tomorrow we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day. Temps will be a little bit cooler tomorrow with a high of around 68. I'm meteorologist Kyle Cutter for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
They say one great thing leads to another, and that's especially true when you visit a Great Clips salon. When you sit down for a haircut with the skilled and friendly stylist at one of our thousands of convenient Great Clips locations, they'll not only make your hair look great, they'll make you feel great too. And that's something you can't help but share with the world. Download our online check-in app today and opt in to get a ready next text when you're up next. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Honey, what do you think? Well, why is there a huge prize wheel in the middle of my living room? Well, we both love Wheel of Fortune so much, I thought I'd build us a home version of the game. Who's gonna clean up this mess? Well, let's spin the wheel and see.
If you want the ultimate Wheel of Fortune experience, enter the Nebraska Lottery's Wheel of Fortune Second Chance promotion. Through August 2nd, enter any non-winning $5 Wheel of Fortune scratch ticket for a chance to win one of 3 prizes. First, you could win a real wheel experience, which is a trip to LA, tickets to a taping of Wheel of Fortune, and a studio tour. Second, you can win the Take a Spin on the High Seas package, which is a Carnival cruise that includes onboard credit. Finally, you could win a spin in the City of Lights, which is a trip to Las Vegas that includes spending money.
Am I in trouble? Let's spin the wheel and see.
Enter the Nebraska Lottery's Wheel of Fortune Second Chance promotion. Scratch ticket top prize odds 1 in 128,000.
You love to bash his sports takes.
Now, will you feel like an idiot if you're
No,
a big tough?
never feel like an
if
idiot.
you're a big tough guy this morning,
But you really love to voice your displeasure for his music choices.
stumbled on an issue that I did not think would generate this much passion and discussion.
It's time for Jake's questionable song of the day on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ball game's in the refrigerator. Doors closed. Lights are out. But it's getting hard. Why is that the pie? Pizza, pizza pie. Every minute, every second, bye, 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 bye. Orders from the pie. Pizza, pizza pie. Every minute, every second, bye, 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 bye. Pepperoni and green peppers, mushrooms, olive chive. Pepperoni and green peppers, mushrooms, olive chive.
There you go. That is Chick and Stew from System of a Down, their 2002 album. Steal this album, actually. They were encouraging you to steal the album. The song's somewhat about advertising. I mean, advertising's great. I don't know. It's kind of silly. But mostly it's about pizza. You get a head banging to pizza?
I'm trying to listen.
Pepperoni and green peppers, mushrooms, olive chive. Pepperoni and green peppers, mushrooms, olive chive.
There you go. See, you're just gonna be singing that throughout the day in your head. Just you want some pizza now.
Okay, we got to get this going. Get Gus on the mic here in a second.
Yeah.
Gus, are you with us? Get on the mic. I think Gus is a big fan. Now, hold on. Just hold on.
Yeah, we got to guess the score.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover here because I got to do a score. Gus got to do a score. I'm really interested to hear what the people say here.
Yeah, I know it's going to be split. This is basically the you like it or you don't. It's going to be I just figured it'd be something that Sorensen hasn't played before.
Oh, you can bet on that. He hasn't played that. It sounds like something you might see on Sesame Street.
You think so? Because it's about pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but except for they're yelling pretty loud.
Yeah, but there's no vulgarity. I could see a skit on Sesame Street with the Cookie Monster or something over a pizza. Bach, you get high marks for creativity.
Yeah.
And surprise factor. You know what, though? I'd almost say you maybe tried too hard.
I tried too hard on this one. I completely forgot about this song. I don't know what I found my old.
How could you forget about that?
Well, I had my old CDs, and it's kind of funny when you listen to your old CDs.
System
Like,
of a
this is
Down.
what I used to listen to.
System of a Down.
System of a Down.
What was their hit?
What was that one?
Come on, Bach.
No, I'm missing it. I'm not great at names of songs. Toxicity of Our City. Did you ever hear that one?
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's their biggest one.
Toxicity of Our City.
Yeah, I think it's just called Toxicity.
Toxicity was a hit.
Yeah, that was their big hit. I think.
I'll give you. I'm not going to give you a disastrous score because of the creativity factor. The song is awful.
Yes,
but you were creative, so I'll give you a nice flat 5.
Well, there we go.
All right,
mostly based off creativity.
All right, Gus. Let's reintroduce Gus to the world. Gus was gone most of last week. He was at the Big Ten baseball tournament in Omaha working it, but Gus is back with us. What would you guess that Gus would give this song, Bach? 19-year-old Gus.
Yeah, I mean, this is this was 2002, so this was around when he was born, I suppose, a little bit afterwards. I don't know if he's gotten into System of a Down too much. I'll say I'll probably give it a 6.5.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna.
You don't think it's gonna be 6.5? Maybe.
I'm looking at Gus's face.
He's
unless he's duping me. Gus is gonna give this a 2.2.
I'll give it like a 4. I did not
4.
like it at all. That's not a song. I like
4.
You got the hair. You just grow it out a little bit more, and you can headbang a little bit.
Yeah, no, I enjoy headbanging, but no, I just didn't like the song. It's just not something I like. I like loud music, but I don't like the screamo. I'm not saying this is screamo, but it's not my thing.
Yeah, you're really into it. I wouldn't say it's screamo, but it's I mean, he's screaming. So wherever you want to make the division there.
Gus gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gus. You're gonna be back.
No, I'm giving it like a 2. I really don't
downgrading
like
it.
that song. I'm sorry.
It went to 2.
You're later in the day. You're gonna be.
And I was looking for this when I heard Sip was gonna, or not Sip, Jake was. You are. I mean, Jake Sorensen was going to be gone because I liked your song last time a lot. I had high hopes for today.
Yeah, I'd like to throw out some curveballs, and you can't hit every curveball.
I just think you tried too hard.
I tried too hard on this one.
Thank you, Gus.
It was in the dirt.
Thank you, Gus. All right, what are you hearing from the text line?
Let's see. Joe in Boulder gives it a negative 117. So that was a go. Scott goes a little bit higher than the normal grade, 11. Way to go, Bach, he says. Rod says, have a good week, guys. Interesting song. Age 59. He gives it a 5. Breezy sends in a gift. Said, what was that? We'll just go ahead and leave it that.
So we just leave it.
Bird gives it a 4. Jennifer gives it a 2. Hubby gives it a 3. And seriously.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Jennifer 2. Hubby 3. Now, Bach, they're always in the 6 to 7.
Are they pretty high? Yeah. Well, like I said, I know that there's going to be either low scores or high scores. There's not a whole lot of middle here. Thomas gives it a 0.2. Kent says that sounds like an AM radio that is not in tune. 4.0 or 0.0. I can't see what he's saying. Okay. Cam says we really, really, really need Jake back. Wowza 0. Points for being different. Did not like 2. Dave says Brian said what is that? John in Des Moines says good choice, good band. Box 7.
Oh, wow.
Pretty good.
Wow. John in Des Moines.
Yeah.
With a pat on the back. Thank you, John.
Texas Jeremy says he has no words, but he's hungry for pizza. So that's part of it. Is getting you guys just subliminal messages there. And Simple spend the weekend yelling at the grandkids. Voice sounds rough. Somebody asks.
Does my voice sound rough?
I don't think so.
Sounds kind of normal.
That sounds good. Jared says System of a Down. Good song choice. 6.4. And Eric said we absolutely don't need Jake back, so Eric must not be too much of a big of a Jake fan.
No, he's like, no. I got to tell you something. That's a running shtick.
Oh, okay.
With Eric. What'd he say? We absolutely don't need Jake back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be back.
What
Whether
did he
you
rate
like
the
it or
song?
not.
What did he rate the song?
He didn't rate the song.
Oh, Eric did.
Aerials. Maybe that's what the song's called. Instead of toxicity. Any case, yeah.
Okay.
That's what Tater says is Aerials. So
Aerials.
Yeah, that might be the name of the song.
You don't have any other System of the Down hits?
There's like BYOB. I don't know. I'd have to go look at
They weren't
Hypnotized.
They don't got a bunch of. They don't got a long line of them. I don't think.
I don't think.
Do they? System of the Down?
They've got like a unique sound and different sounds, but I don't think that they've got like absolute hits. I think I'll say this about them because I got several of their albums, listen to them. I like their albums, but they don't necessarily peak high on like big hits.
No.
I don't think they're going to be on too many like big hit lists.
No.
Yeah. But in any case, it was something different. So I traded it.
It was. Do we have time to talk about your beloved son? No,
not
we
yet.
Don't.
Well,
okay, what are we
not
coming
yet.
back for? What should we do on the other end, Bach? Come on.
Well, we could eventually. We're teasing the Celtics, so we'll get to them eventually. Maybe we'll get to that in the other half of this segment. But also a big recruiting weekend around the corner. It's recruiting season, camp season. Lots going on there. So we'll give you an update on what Nebraska's looking at, and if this season, it looks like, anyways, that maybe you're done with the transfer portal. So we'll talk about that too. Coming up next year on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Beatrice Bakery. They ship cakes all over the country. True story. But take a look inside their shop and you'd have no idea. This is a Nebraska product through and through. Not some massive production plant. Local people making delicious cake just for you. So go see them in their new storefront location in downtown Beatrice. Grab some grandma's fruit cake, some chocolate rum cake, or my favorite, the turtle nut cake. And say hi to Rick and the crew. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. Springtime is here, and that means you're outside more in nice weather and maybe even having garage parties with neighbors. The drink of this spring and summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs and 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Hi, this is Dave Osted from Osted's Golf. Let us make this your best season yet.
Voted a top 100 fitter by Golf Digest, our master fitters have been trained by the same guys that build clubs for PGA pros like Rory, Tiger, DJ, and Jordan. Have old clubs? Trade them in Osted's Value Guide, or have our club specialists get your clubs swinging like new. Go to our website and make your fitting appointment. You're a click away from a better golf game. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine. Rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
We're back for the second hour here on 93.7 The Ticket. It is Early Break on a Tuesday with you. And we had a great first hour thanks to several callers who called in the first segment. We kind of went through our Lindy's preseason magazine. I'm going to go get one after the show. I'm very excited to dive into that. So we had a lot going on, and we still have a lot going on. Of course, we have Shut Up Sipple coming up this hour. But first, in this segment, we're going to break down some future recruiting for Nebraska as the Friday Night Lights camp is coming up. It's going to be one of the biggest weekends in the Frost era. In fact, I think it is the biggest weekend in the Frost era as far as how many guys official visits that they're bringing onto campus. And of course, when you talk recruiting, it can go in a lot of different directions. Malachi Coleman expected to be among the visitors. So you can kind of dive into how important is it to get the Lincoln kids? How is the local area talent and Scott Frost doing with that as of late? But most importantly is that it is camp time. It is getting to that point of the season. Are they going to have it open to the public, Friday Night Lights?
I don't know that.
I don't know that either. They've done that in the past.
Yeah. So what's happening right now, Bach, is the conversation kind of shifts from the transfer portal and the additions from there to what you call it more traditional recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're done in the portal. I think they're done. I mean, it's possible that someone would pop up and you just couldn't say no to that person if he wanted to enter the program. But I think the portal activity's done.
Yeah, and right now they're 3 over the scholarship limit.
Yeah, that's one of the most overcooked discussions we have at Nebraska. People gnashing their teeth over being 3 over. That always works itself out.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
I
But
know.
at the same point, if you keep adding out of the transfer portal, at some point you have to kind of think about it.
Yeah, I'm amazed how many people ask me, Sip, what are they going to do? They're 3 over. Who cares? They're 3 over. Somebody will medical. Somebody will move on. It's not a big deal. It's of all the things,
and it's not healthy to speculate about which guy.
No,
I think because
thank you,
yeah,
Brock.
it's
So yeah, this is a huge recruiting weekend for people. The uninitiated. Friday Night Lights camp is this Friday, and 15 official visitors at this point are scheduled to be on hand. Husker Online's covering this. In terms of a visit weekend, this will be by far the biggest of Scott Frost's tenure. The previous high, according to Sean Callahan, for official visitors in a weekend was 9. And that was, Bach, in 2019 when College Game Day was here for Ohio State.
Oh, great weekend, not a great game.
So yeah, Friday Night Lights camp. The first of 2 is Friday. Then there will be another one on June 17th. Also this weekend on Sunday is a 7-on-7 camp in Lincoln. So yeah, this is camp season. 15 official visitors on hand. A lot of this is in-state talent too. You mentioned Malachi Coleman, the Lincoln East star receiver. I think he'll be a receiver, right? They talk about him maybe coming off the edge too on defense, right? Maverick Noonan will be here. We'll get back to Maverick Noonan because that's a big story. Brock Knutson, the Scottsbluff offensive lineman. I think Cade McIntyre, for sure he's coming during the midweek to meet with Barrett.
Okay. And is he listed as, are they recruiting him as an athlete? Do you know exactly?
I think they're recruiting him as a linebacker.
Linebacker, yeah.
Yeah. Cade McIntyre from Fremont Bergen, who had 63 tackles and 6 sacks last year, picked up an offer from Oklahoma on Sunday night.
Wow.
Also has offers from Tennessee and Iowa. He's hot. Cade McIntyre right now is, as Sean points out, no prospect in the state of Nebraska right now is hotter than Fremont Bergen's Cade McIntyre. I'm really interested, though, in the Maverick Noonan conversation. Maverick Noonan is the Elkhorn South pass rusher. Father was Danny Noonan.
Yeah.
Danny Noonan was an All-American Nebraska nose guard. Got drafted by the Cowboys. I used to see Danny Noonan all the time at the Columbus racetrack where I worked. Danny Noonan would come in there. Now Maverick Noonan, think about Maverick Noonan's situation here. Okay, think about this. He's coming to Nebraska for an official visit this weekend. Then, Bach, he's taking trips to Minnesota next week, Stanford the week after that, and Iowa the week after that.
Busy weekend.
Yeah,
or busy
now that's
summer,
interesting.
I should say.
Yeah, I don't know where you want to be if you're Nebraska. If you want to be first on that list, in the middle, or last. I think you'd want to be last.
Yeah,
but yeah, it doesn't. I think Nebraska got some work to do there.
Well, and it's a larger discussion. Obviously, that's a legacy kid, like you mentioned.
Right,
So,
right.
you feel at least you got the in there. But obviously, with Dylan Raiola, he almost rose above the legacy portion and started getting recruited by everybody, and that's where Nebraska eventually lost him. That's kind of what you can see happening with these kids, as somebody at the text line kind of points out too. Is there's not that, as the state of Nebraska, I mean, I think this has got to be one of the better years in Nebraska in recent history.
I think it's absolutely okay. Think about it. There's 9 in-state kids with scholarship offers from big-time schools.
Yeah,
8 of them have a Nebraska offer. What is on your mind?
I have a question.
What is on your mind, Gus?
I have a question I want to pose that I've thought about for a little bit. When you bring up like legacy recruits of, guys whose parents are played in Nebraska, do you think Nebraska could potentially, decades down the line, I know this is a while, but think we could miss out in some future legacy recruits when Nebraska's kind of struggled for a little bit? Do you think kids are gonna, when you think of legacy recruits now, it's their parents played at an all-time great school in Nebraska, 70s, 80s, 90s. It was a huge powerhouse. Do you think kids are gonna, you think Nebraska is gonna get those legacy recruits when their parents played for like a struggling Nebraska teams? I guess that's what I'm asking.
I get what you're saying. I don't know. Now here's what I'd say, Gus. I say this all the time. I'll say it again to your question. I just am very careful to throw a blanket over things like that.
Yeah.
These are individual decisions. So I don't know.
I just think that maybe Nebraska won't hold that same mystique to them as it did to some of these kids.
No, it won't. I mean, Nebraska hasn't lost all its mystique.
No, not at all. It still has that national name. It still has a lot of that tradition around it.
But if it keeps going, that's the concern. I mean, there's a big concern there in my mind anyway. The brand is still strong, and it will not take time for the brand to snap back at a huge level.
Yeah.
If Nebraska gets good. If Nebraska wins 10 games this year, the brand will snap back like you wouldn't believe. And all these sort of uncomfortable discussions go away quickly.
The problem, though, is that when you do get into the discussion of,
thank you, Gus.
Thank you. And by the way, I think that it's bigger when Nebraska is struggling. So like if a father plays for a team that struggled, and then the son's ready to commit when Nebraska's top 15, then that's not going to matter as much. I think it's more like we're dealing with it now, right? The legacy kids now, even if your dad was an All-American here, that doesn't mean that you want to be developed by this coaching staff. If you have other coaching staffs that have offered you that have proven it a little bit more than Nebraska. But again, with these in-state kids, with the brand being strong, yes, but when an Oklahoma jumps in, or even a Tennessee, it's probably on the same level as Nebraska. But when you start to get those Oklahoma offers, or those programs that just are undoubtedly on an elevated level to what Nebraska is, the brand might be strong, but then Oklahoma's brand is strong. So when you get those other big time offers,
well, Oklahoma is 55 and 10 was 55 and 10 under Lincoln Riley.
Right.
That's a different conversation. Tennessee, I mean, I want to be careful now. And you caught yourself on Tennessee. Tennessee's in the same boat as Nebraska is. But because it's Tennessee and they're outside our realm, we still look at them like, ooh, Tennessee came in. Why is that a big deal? What's that? That's not much different than Nebraska.
Well, I think it's probably gives you a good idea of what Nebraska is. If you hear, that from an outside state is, oh, that's a name.
Exactly.
Struggled as of late, but that's a name.
Well, yeah. Thank you. Exactly. I think, I think it's usually this way. The inside us, when you're in the vortex of the storm, you look at it much more negatively than the outside.
Yeah.
We know all our warts.
Yeah.
We media talk show hosts, we fixate.
We talk about it every day.
We fixate on Nebraska, and we know all the warts.
Right.
And what do we tend to do as humans? We focus on the warts. I mean, I've known some incredibly good-looking human beings in my life, but they fixate on maybe a gap in their tooth, or gap in their teeth, or a pimple. I'm like, what are you worried about the pimple for? Look at you.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what we do with Nebraska football, right? Right?
Yeah.
We know all the problems, and we talk about them ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah. But if a kid in Nashville is getting recruited by Nebraska, in Tennessee they're going, oh, Nebraska came in.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Wait, whoa. Yeah, that's a big offer. Again, it might not jump off to you like Oklahoma does.
No, not right now.
But those are the types, for what it's worth, too, that Nebraska wants to be in competition with. You want to win recruits over somebody that's highly regarded, that's getting Stanford and Minnesota and Iowa attention, Tennessee decision, attention, Oklahoma attention.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just beat. I don't want to downgrade anybody else, but then Northwestern and Illinois of the world if you're going after recruits. So I think that there are positives, but ultimately Nebraska, until they win, until they turn it around, and I think it's been I think it'll be pretty big what they did with Cam Jurgens, Cam Taylor-Britt, both guys that I believe were Frost recruits that developed along the way, all the way to being second round picks.
Jurgens was definitely a Frost recruit, and I think Cam Taylor-Britt was. Why do we not know that? Could he have possibly been a Riley recruit? Frost.
I think he was a Frost recruit.
Yeah. I mean, those are, you bring those up. Those are,
they needed those though.
Yeah.
They needed something to point to that says, hey, we can develop you guys into second round, high end draft.
Well, Alston Allen was developed into a pick. Who else was picked?
Well, he wasn't picked, but he was developed into an all Big Ten tight end.
Good catch. Good catch. God, I thought that's a good catch. It still surprises me he wasn't picked.
But I always go back to that too, because I think some people, when we talk about is this team talented, more talented than that team or whatever, and you just focus on the draft picks, and then other people will say, well, is that undrafted class just the greatest undrafted class of all time? It's pretty darn good. They had a second team All-American on it. You had a Big Ten tight of the year in that group. Yeah, it's a pretty good undrafted class.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, so anyway, big recruiting weekend. I mean, I'd say headed by Malachi Coleman, but not by a long shot. I mean, Maverick Noonan's a big story right now. Brock Knutson, that Scottsbluff offensive lineman, fairly big story. McIntyre right now, Cade McIntyre, as we mentioned, hottest kid going in the state in terms of offers rolling in. Oklahoma rolls in on Sunday night and offers Cade McIntyre, Fremont Bergen. But Coleman, has the Georgia offer, has the Michigan offer. He has big offers. And again, he's probably going to take all 5 of his officials. Okay. Got a lot of work to do for Malachi Coleman.
Yeah.
We'll see where that all goes. But yeah, hey, I'll tell you this, Bach. The recruiting coverage will heat up in a big way this weekend. You're going to be hearing a lot about it.
And it will be nice to kind of to get that. I love the transfer portal and all the fun we've kind of had. But it is kind of nice to get back into classic recruiting. It almost has been quite overshadowed, at least in the last several months, though. And there was a time when that was all the focus. Remember February signing days or whatever it was, and just
it's not always going to be that way for Nebraska. If you look at Nebraska, brought in 15 players from the portal. In the Big Ten, that's the highest of any Big Ten team.
Yeah.
Indiana was next at 13. Then it just drops off. I mean, there's Iowa only had one.
Yeah.
Iowa had 1. Ohio State only had 3.
I don't think Georgia has one.
Is that right?
Yeah, defending champs.
Is that right?
Last time I checked, I don't think they do.
Alabama went into the portal.
Yeah, but they're very selective. They got like their big time, Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back, the Burton, the wide receiver. Like they've got any little small problem they have on their depth chart. That's where they identify and get the talent. Nebraska obviously had a lot of Band-Aids to kind of throw all over the roster. I'm interested to see how much of this in the future Nebraska will be in the portal, because I think that, as long as the NIL stuff is in play, and I think that could be very advantageous for Nebraska. I don't know about 15 every year, but there are, I think, 40 plus teams, including some outside the FBS, Liberties, such as like that, that have more than 10 guys out of the transfer portal. So
we are on the same page. I mean, right now, I think Nebraska, I got to make sure I say this correctly. I think they could become sort of a heavy portal type program.
I think it could be beneficial that way.
Yeah, I think it could be. I mean, part of it is because I say it all the time, but in the context of this conversation, it makes sense to repeat it. Nebraska is structured at such a high level NIL-wise as an organization. So they have that advantage. It's not always going to be there. There's going to be other teams. There's going to be other programs that look at it that aren't participating right now to a high degree, like Iowa, like Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue's not it. They just don't even, Wisconsin, they're not playing the game really. Now, some of those teams are going to look at it and say, we got to play the game. It's going to take it's going to take some longer than others. It's going to take some longer than others to ramp up their NIL organization.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of elaborate. And Nebraska was on the cutting edge of it.
I always say this: Nebraska was planning for this far better than the NCAA planned for it.
It's good. That's a really good point.
Yeah,
it is a really good point. That is a good point. So I think Nebraska will continue to take advantage of the transfer portal. Now, 15, no, I don't think it's going to be 15 every year. But what if it was 7 to 10 every year?
I think that would be a good idea.
I think so.
Now, what you do worry about is then
I think so. I really believe that.
But you could be recruiting over your young fellas. And if you become a transfer portal known for heavily playing in the transfer portal, then freshmen may be less likely to jump on.
They'll watch it.
But I'll tell you this. If you have holes, if you need specialists, nobody's going to turn down O'Shawn Mathis. Casey Thompson's, pretty important. They've got some big, ads there where if you have any holes, why not? You don't have, if you're not in a position, you have to rely on, you love next man up, right? But it doesn't always play to your benefit. And if you can get a second team, all Big 12 guy, yeah.
Oh, to plug holes, absolutely. Alabama's going to do it. We don't need to get into this, but as Lane Kiffin pointed out last week, if you think NIL is going to create parity, think again. No, because Alabama is going to plug holes out of the transfer portal. Alabama is going to pay people at a high level if they have a hole. If they have a hole, Bach, if they're lacking 2 interior linemen, you think Alabama's just going to say, oh well, we're just going to have a hole? No, they're going to do what anybody else does.
But again, that's what they did. They got a running back and a wide receiver.
Yeah. The rich are going to get richer.
Yeah.
This isn't going to create parity. You hear people say that. What are you talking about? Come on, don't say that. It's not going to be parity. The top's going to. All they got to do. It's like an NFL. It's the reverse of the NFL, whereas the best teams in the NFL draft low. No, the best teams in college football are going to draft high.
Mhm.
They're going to finish high and draft high. That's not going to create parity.
I just don't know when.
You see what I'm saying?
I just don't know when there was parity in college football, though. I don't know why people want
Some years
parity.
there's
so
a
much.
little bit more than others, but not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now.
But it doesn't even last for long. You've always had your powers. You've always had the dominant teams. You always had your advantages.
yeah,
Nebraska used to be one of those because they played on primetime games and national television when not everybody did. There's never really been a huge amount of parity, and there's never really been a decade where 5 to 10 teams don't kind of take over. And it's happening, that's
I'm
still
with
the
you.
way it is.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't have any major complaints. I do have one complaint about the NBA, though.
Yeah, we better get into the NBA.
Can we get to your beloved Celtics?
Well, yeah, let's do it. It's been since 2010, guys. I've
Can
been
we do
watching
this?
all the playoff games. I love it every year. The Celtics are always in the playoffs, and finally they've made the finals. They didn't make it easy on themselves by losing in Game 6 at home, but they did win and beat the Heat 100-96, winning Game 7. Jason Tatum, your Larry Bird MVP, which is the Eastern Conference MVP in that category. But what was your complaint out of it?
I guess it's this. If you're watching the Eastern Conference Finals, and if your representative coming out of the Eastern Conference Finals was going to be the Miami Heat, which it was close, that is not a good representative for the NBA.
Why is that?
Because they're not very good.
They're pretty beat up is part of the problem.
They're not very good. If that's all you can get, if that's all you can do is get the Miami Heat to the finals as an NBA, that ain't good. That's not a good team. Now, I get it. Tyler Hero's out.
Yeah.
Well, he played 6 minutes.
He was hurt. Yeah.
7 minutes.
Recovering.
Yeah, from a groin injury.
But don't downplay that. That's the 6th man of the year.
I'm downplaying it.
That's the 6th man of the year in the NBA.
Oh no, he was important.
He's significant.
Let's put it this way. Now, I'm going to tell you this too. I'm not heaping praise on the Celtics in this.
They made it difficult
in the context of history. Yeah. Celtics barely got by that team, and Jimmy Butler was amazing in Game 6 and really good in Game 7.
Oh yeah,
47 in Game 6. What do you have the other night? 32, 34 in Game 7. He put 34 in Game 7.
I can check here. 35, yeah.
Okay. If you look at some of the best teams in the NBA of the 80s, 90s, Jimmy Butler, for instance, the Larry Bird Celtics, is the third option at best.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan Bulls, third option at best. I mean, they're leaning on him hard. Detroit Piston Bad Boys, third option at best. I mean, these teams aren't that good.
Well, that's
and Charles Barkley's been saying it all year.
Oh yeah,
the NBA's not that good, and it's not that good.
Well, it depends on what you want, though, Sip. Do you want a couple years ago? You had two of the greatest teams of all time, and they played for like 4 straight finals. Do you want parity in the NBA, basically, or do you want super teams? Because right now you don't have super teams.
No, you don't have super teams.
So when you come off an era where Golden State had Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson, and Draymond, and all those guys.
Good point.
You're going, that's the best team ever. And they literally had the best record of all time, and then added Kevin Durant. So it was like, this might be the best team ever.
Great point.
The last 3 years, the Lakers that won in the bubble, Milwaukee last year, and even if Golden State or Boston wins this year, these aren't all-time great teams.
Nope.
But they are wide open playoffs.
Good point. Okay, now that you got me on that. You put me back on my heels a little bit.
Yeah, it just depends on what you like.
Depends on what you like, right?
Yeah. I kind of like the wide open playoffs because I think it's only a matter of time till a super team comes back in and takes over.
Maybe.
But for a few years, I like the fact that there's this window here, and I'm glad the Celtics make it. But they're a team that's kind of in that category that's playing for in that realm, in that neighborhood every year. And I was just kind of frustrated that the Lakers took advantage of this era, this window without super teams.
Okay.
And the Celtics haven't yet, but now the Celtics have an opportunity to do so.
Now, what do you think of the matchup?
I think
with the Warriors,
they're gonna have to. They can't play the way that they did against the Heat and beat the Warriors. They were the Celtics, for what it's worth, were also beat up throughout that run. So they're gonna have to. They have to play better. They kind of are giving teams, second chances, third chance. Really go until the end against Game 7 and with the Bucks and the Heat now. I don't think it's a bad matchup though. These are the two of the best defensive teams in the league.
The two best defensive.
The two
teams
best, yeah, statistically.
Yeah.
I think I would if I'm Boston and if I'm Marcus Smart, I take Steph Curry to the post every time, clear out, make him foul you, or give up points to Smart.
If Smart's healthy.
Yeah, if Smart's healthy.
He's been banged up. Now he's playing.
Yeah,
he's playing, but he's banged up.
I'll tell you this. If Steph Curry gets that open look three that that Jimmy Butler had in the finals, they're going to go home the champions.
I didn't mind that shot, by the way.
I didn't either, but it's one he's going to think about for the rest of his life.
He addressed it.
Yeah.
After the game, and it was predictable what he said, but I 100% agreed with it. He was going for the kill.
Oh yeah.
Okay. He was going for the win. He was being aggressive. Now, for people who didn't see it, Miami down 2 with about 17 seconds left. Miami down 2. They get a kind of a fast break.
Yeah,
kind of a half.
He had
break.
Horford on his heels.
Horford is the only man between Jimmy Buckets and the basket. Now, he probably could have took Horford off the dribble and gotten 2 to tie it. Right?
Oh yeah.
He stopped at the 3-point line and took a shot, front rimmed it. It was a good shot. Like Eric Spoelstra said.
Open.
Yeah, Spoelstra said he thought it was in. Jimmy's not a great 3-point shooter. I get that. But he's a good enough one that in that moment, in that situation, with what he'd done in Game 6 and in Game 7 too, I'm fine with him trying that shot. Didn't bother me at all. Now, you look at it again, he had Horford on his heels, probably could have got to 2. Jaylen Brown wasn't really in position to help, especially if Jimmy Buckets went to his right, which he probably would have done. He's pretty right-hand dominated, actually.
Yeah.
But I was okay with it. He just barely missed it. And if he hits it, it's one of the biggest collapses in playoff history by Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were up 11 with 3.5 to go.
Oh yeah, that game was all over and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
He's a career 32% 3-point shooter.
Not a great 3-point shooter,
but he is a guy that's just got ice in his veins, and he's and I mean because he did it this way, like you said, he's not like a superstar, but he turns it on in the playoffs.
He does. That's the thing.
Yeah, he did it in the bubble, and he's done it in this series.
You wouldn't put Jimmy Butler in the top 10 players in the NBA right now.
No.
I'm surprised how much we're agreeing in this conversation. You wouldn't.
No.
Top 20.
Yeah.
Top 20.
But
playoffs, Jimmy Buckets?
Yeah,
he turns it up.
Yeah.
Turns it up.
So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait for that series. There's a lot kind of going into it. The Celtics, I think one of the stats I saw on SVP kind of had right after the game, both their 2 leading scorers are under 25. The last 3 teams to make the finals in that category were the Thunder with Durant and Westbrook, the Magic back when Penny and Shaq were going, and then Houston in the 80s with Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon. None of those teams won the title, but the Celtics might be different because like Tatum's had more postseason wins than the 76ers since he's been in the league. Like the Celtics are always making a run. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tatum was big the other night, 26 points. I think he had 10 rebounds. Tatum was big. I now don't get me wrong. These aren't bad teams. Celtics aren't bad.
No.
They're good.
And
They're
for the
tough.
crowd that doesn't like the NBA because there's no defense played, that's not the case with these two
Can't
teams.
say that with Golden State.
No.
Or
incredible
Boston.
defense.
Yeah, I mean Golden State. Now here's the thing about Boston. The one thing they cannot do is let Golden State get up early. They'll have a hard time. Golden State really does a good job of feeding off its defense. They create offense off their defense. Now Golden State's got to do is minimize turnovers. They're a heavy turnover team.
Yeah.
and it correlates directly to wins and losses with them. But they've been a bad turnover team for about 8 years.
Yeah,
they have.
They can make up for it.
Yeah, they do a good job of making up for it. I have a hard time. Do respect Bach. I love you, but I can't pick the Celtics in this series.
That's fine. I don't expect it to be picked necessarily by most people, but I like their chance just because of their matchup. Like,
what matchups?
Oh, just
what do you like?
Basically any of them. The fact that Draymond, it's just kind of like the minor players that the Celtics have actually match up pretty well. Like I said, even Marcus Smart's the defensive player of the year. So you want somebody to lock down Steph, and then Steph's a liability on defense. So and Marcus is especially good at like backing you down, getting those buckets close if he's got a smaller defender on him, or getting Steph in foul trouble. That's where I would start again. But even like Grant Williams, I mean, he's basically Draymond. He's not as good as Draymond, don't get me wrong, but he's like a younger version of a smaller big that can guard.
Okay, who's matching up on Jason Tatum? Is that Wiggins?
I think Wiggins, yeah.
So that's trouble. Now that'll be a big challenge for Tatum.
Yeah.
Who's matching up on Jaylen Brown?
I think Clay probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of good matchups, and even I don't know if the Warriors have rim protector or somebody to kind of go against Robert Williams. So when he can kind of get it going, he's really
Kevin
good.
Looney.
Kevin Looney, yeah. So I mean, I just think they're good matchups altogether.
It's good. Yeah, it's probably maybe I'm selling Boston a little short in this series. I really like Golden State.
Yeah.
Which means Boston will probably win no matter what.
Well, I hope so. I like I said, the Celtics need one to break the tie with the Lakers of having the most championship in NBA
Celtics
history.
going for number 18.
Yeah.
Celtics going for title number 18.
And it's only a matter of time before the Lakers take that over. I understand that, but I still like I like to cling on to that.
All right.
So we'll take a quick break here on Early Break. When we get back, let's talk some Big Ten baseball. Not the best look again with the selection committee this weekend, but we will talk that, and then we'll get it to Shut Up with Sipples. That's going up next year on Early Break on 93.7.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, February 2nd and 3rd. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on different models of John Deere and Hagee sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and more. We'll be offering free dicamba certification. Join us February 2nd and 3rd in Kearney. RSVP by calling your local Landmark location or at landmarkimp.com/events.
Adventure Golf Center's open for business with 2 mini golf courses and a 3rd course on its way within the month. Enjoy the current courses as well as the batting cages and a shaved ice food truck, and prepare for a new putting course completely uncommon in Nebraska and the Midwest with 18 holes of par 3s, 4s, and 5s, and a bar on the course. Oh yeah, Adventure Golf Center now sells alcohol too. Play the courses now and prepare to experience the new course within the month at Adventure Golf Center, 56 and Old Chain.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jake. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh, Gus, yeah. What?
This is an early break here on 93.7 The Ticket, and we're ready to talk some Big Ten baseball. As we'll bring on Gus here in a second.
Hold on, Gus.
He was in Omaha. He was working the event. So Big Ten baseball tournament, very cool. I want to run that down as it finished over the weekend. Very critical loss in the end that we didn't really think would be the case as much as that Rutgers lost to Michigan. Michigan wins the tournament despite having a pitcher who had some substance on his glove at some point in that tournament as well. So it was interesting. But Michigan basically steals the bid from Rutgers as it ended up being. The selection committee left Rutgers out, who was 41 and 15, 44 and 15, excuse me.
Yeah.
Their best season. They have not been to the tournament since 2007. A lot of people figured that they were kind of a lock, but they had a strength of schedule of number 149. The Big Ten having a down season. So this it was basically a one bid league and the champion. Maybe Rutgers would have got in. Obviously, if they won the championship, but it's hard to see it any other way because they didn't. They were that close. And don't quite get in. So disappointing, I think, from another year of how respected is Big Ten baseball. Maryland's a top 10 team for what it's worth. They didn't win the Big Ten tournament, so that should say something. But
Maryland gets
one of the worst Big Ten years in quite some time.
Yeah, Maryland gets in as a 15 seed. They had designs on a top 8. They only got 15. They got the 15 seed.
Yeah.
That ain't.
You can't read it any other way than the Big Ten's not respected at all. Which it's not new, but it's a down year for an unrespected conference, basically.
You nailed it, Bach. So
sad.
To recap, Maryland is in as a 15 seed, and Michigan is in as the Big Ten tournament champion, knocking Rutgers out. Rutgers 44 and 15, not in the tournament. Now their RPI was 42.
Yeah.
42. So the RBI wasn't great. You mentioned their non-conference schedule was bad.
Yeah.
238.
Some bad losses there.
Yeah. So it's informative. If you're a Big Ten team, you look at Rutgers and say, okay, that's scary. They're 44 and 15 and didn't make the field because they didn't play a good they played a bad non-conference. And then I don't know. It's not like they had a bad Big Ten tournament.
No.
They made it to the final. They should have made the. Hey, Bach, we could also say this. They should have been included in the field. This is a team that leads college baseball in runs per game, 9.7. It's a veteran team. Why leave that team out? They were one of the last 4 out.
Yeah. I can't say that I follow college baseball close enough to know about every team's in and outs, but you would think that this would do it. And again, it's just it diminishes what Big Ten baseball is. Do you feel like there is any way to kind of get out of this rut that it's not a rut, it's just like an eternity that Big Ten baseball people have said before doesn't put the money into it? You look at Nebraska Stadium,
they do
compared to others.
No, they do put the money into it.
Well, and they need more money. They're going to make more money with this next contract. But is that the problem, or is it just the Northern States thing is always going to get?
I just think it's a regional discussion because now I'd say they're putting money. They're putting more money into it. Is it enough? I don't know. The SEC got 9 teams in the field.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? It's the SEC. Baseball in the SEC is a different animal, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
We're not saying anything that people don't already know. So, but the Big Ten was down, and Rutgers is a casualty, and I am interested to hear from Gus. Gus was at the Big Ten tournament where Nebraska wasn't, and Gus, I got to tell you, Gus, our producer Gus joins us. 19-year-old was working the tournament in a TV capacity. I didn't watch a second of it. I didn't watch a single moment of it. For all I know, the Big Ten tournament never happened.
Well, Gus put in some TV work for you.
Gus is here to tell us it happened. What was it like crowd-wise?
Crowd-wise, it wasn't very. There weren't very many people.
You can choose your seats, basically.
Yeah, that's about as frankly as I can put it. There are a few games where the crowds got pretty lively, especially the Michigan-Iowa games. There's a couple of those.
How many people in the stands? Was there 1,500, 3,000, 5,000? What are we talking about?
I'd say at peak it was maybe 3,000 to 5,000.
Okay. Now, that's not a disaster.
But on average, I mean, the championship game maybe had 1,500, 1,000. Yeah, and like
what time was that championship game?
The championship.
Yes, Sunday. It was Sunday.
Sunday. It was Sunday. It would have taken place. I think first pitch was 5:09.
5:09. So 5:09 on a Sunday in Omaha. Michigan is playing Rutgers.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And that 5:09 pitches, that 5:09 first pitch is important because it kind of demonstrates just how tough this tournament is to run. On Sunday, the first game, we had two games. We knew it was going to be two games on Sunday, semifinal and final. The first game was scheduled to start right at 1. It did.
Okay.
And the next game was scheduled to start at 5:00.
Okay.
First pitch 5:00, and the first game ended up Michigan, I believe, run ruled Iowa.
Okay.
So that game ends in the 7th or 8th inning.
Mm-hmm.
And now the second game isn't even starting at 5 yet. So you can imagine all the other games that didn't end early or went into extra innings, just how tough it was to get this tournament done in an efficient manner. Because even these games that were ending early, you still weren't making the scheduled first pitch time for the second and third and fourth games.
I see what you're saying.
And this is all due to the rain delay on Wednesday.
And yeah, exactly. So this was a double elimination tournament, and I don't have my schedule right in front of me, but it was supposed to be, I think, 3 games most days.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as that first day got rained out, it was
trying to jam 4.
From Thursday to Saturday, it was 4 games a day starting at 9 a.m. through whenever they ended, which was anywhere from 1:30 in the morning to about 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is if you try to play at 2 different ballparks.
Yeah.
If you try to play at another ballpark, maybe a game or two. I don't know.
I think
it's not a bad idea.
I think the double elimination works, but as soon as you have a full day of games rained out, I think at that time you have to look at other options, either a second ballpark to run games at the same time or certain games that are single elimination, either the early rounds.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a roll of the dice on the weather, too. I mean, how many late May stretches of 4 days you're going to get no rain? It just rains around here a lot in May. Am I wrong?
No, I'm
wrong?
I'm just kind of thinking too, like as we're moving towards football, divisionless football with the 2 best teams to play for the championship, right? Maybe Rutgers would have got in if they lost to Maryland instead of Michigan. I guess I don't. It's kind of it's funny that football's going that way, but in baseball and basketball, these other sports are like, let's just have a tournament at the end where anybody can do it, even if they suck. Even if they don't even have a above 500 record all year, let's just give everybody a chance.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, kind of different.
All right, we better play the game show. Gus, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Gus. That is a cool opportunity either way. So I hope they go to Omaha more often, but it is time for Shut Up Sipple.
We've all been there. You're listening to the radio, and then that rage starts to grow inside of you. It starts to consume you. It gets to a point where you just want to yell, "Shut up, Sipple!" No, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, here's your chance. It's time to shut up, Sipple. Call now to play 464-5685. Shut up, Sipple. Brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
All right, we are ready for a Shut Up Sipple. We just need a contestant. I think we're getting that call right now. Got the USC fight song playing, I believe. Is that what this is?
That is absolutely the USC fight song.
I'm a big USC fan now, big Lincoln Riley guy. So I can agree. Yeah, I went to the spring game, so because I was out in LA at the time.
That's right.
So it was very fun. So now I'm a USC guy.
Okay.
But so I can vibe to this. In any case, what do we have? Greg from Milford ready to go. Greg, how you doing this morning?
Good. How you guys doing?
Greg, we haven't heard from you in a while, have we? How are you doing?
I've been traveling, and I just got back from Alaska on a cruise, so I've been gone.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for calling. It's good to hear your voice again, and we'll do this now.
Yeah, the topic today is Major League Baseball pitchers. So we'll see if you guys.
I'm game over. Might as well give this one a simple.
Just no,
All right,
no.
let's see.
Come on, Greg. You know who you're dealing with here. I'm not exactly Joe Garagiola over here. All right, let's do this.
All right, yeah, let's start off with Greg here. What team does Sandy Alcantara pitch for? Sandy Alcantara.
Let's go with Cleveland. It's not the Indians, whatever the heck they're called now.
The Guardians?
The Guardians.
Sure.
Is it the Guardians? Oh, it's not the Guardians. And this, you got a chance for the steal if you'd like.
You know, the beautiful thing about this is, we have a limited number of choices, but I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass.
Yeah, go ahead and pass. Okay, that's fair enough. He plays for the Marlins. Is who he plays for.
Wouldn't have guessed that.
Sybil, it's now your turn. What team does Frankie Montas pitch for?
Frankie Montas. If I was Frankie Montas, who would I pitch for?
That's right.
I'll say the New York Mets.
Is it the New York Mets? Oh, it wasn't the New York Mets. Greg, would you like the opportunity to steal?
I don't even want to say a word. Nope.
No. Okay, it's the Athletics in this case. All right, let's go back to Greg here. Greg, what team does Dylan Cease pitch for?
Well, you were West Coast on those two, so let's try the East Coast. Red Sox.
Is it the Red Sox? Oh, it was not the Red Sox.
You know what's interesting? Bach?
What?
Gus knows all these.
You think so?
Yeah.
He does. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to pass.
You're going to go ahead and pass. Okay. It was Sox. It was the White Sox.
Oh,
so that's a tough one. All right. So we'll go back to Simple. Simple, what team does Brad Keller pitch for? That one rings a bell, maybe.
The St. Louis Cardinals.
Is it the St. Louis Cardinals?
Oh,
no, it's not the St. Louis Cardinals. Greg, one final chance to steal. Otherwise, we'll go to the tiebreaker.
Okay.
Let's go to the tiebreaker.
Let's just go to the tiebreaker. Brad
All right.
Keller pitches for the Royals.
Okay, the Royals.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we are in overtime now. Scoreless.
0-0.
Scoreless overtime. Okay, now I can't remember.
This is a barn burner going on here.
Yeah.
The number goes to Greg. I had the number last time.
Okay. All right, Greg, Sandy Alcantara has 10 starts this year and leads the Major League Baseball in innings pitched. How many innings has he pitched through 10 starts?
For 10 starts?
Yeah.
Let's say 38.7.
All right,
No,
I think
38.8.
38.8
Okay, I
innings
think
pitched.
I'm going to be 13-7 overall because I'm saying over.
You are saying over. Is it over? It is over. Sip, you are the winner. It is 67 2/3 innings as you take home your victory. I don't know if you're too proud of this one, but in any case, you did get the win. Thanks for calling in, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Good job, Sip. Always a good battle.
Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back to the lower half of the United States. We appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. You can't feel too bad for me. He's just been to Alaska. That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
And by the way, in terms of pride in victory, I'm always happy to take any W.
Yeah. That's what it's not always the prettiest W, but if you can get it.
That was pretty.
That was,
it always is the prettiest W.
No matter what.
Yeah.
A W is a W.
13-7. I'm 6 over. I'm 6 over the 500 mark, which is huge for me.
That's a good, it's a good
I
start
have
to the
some
year.
leeway. I have some leeway.
Yeah. You could have a whole bad week and still be over 500. That's a good deal. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, hopefully we can get the guys in the studio, have a little bit of a crossover section. So we'll see if that's in the cards. Either way, we'll wrap up the show. Coming up next year on Early Break with Sip and Jake at 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine today. It'll be a little bit breezy as well. We'll see a high around 80. Tonight, partly cloudy skies are expected with a low of around 52. And tomorrow, we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day. Temps will be a little bit cooler tomorrow with a high of around 68. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great. We're
definitely coming back.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
At Baxter, we put you in the driver's seat with a simplified buying process, at-home test drives, hassle-free delivery, and service pickup and return. Check out all our new vehicle specials now during the Ram Make the Switch event at Baxter Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Tune in every Monday morning throughout the summer at 6:45 a.m. for golf course reviews on the Nebraska Golf Passport Early Break Golf Tour with Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to more high school football action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping things up here on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket, and it is time to be joined by some friends as we have DP in studio getting ready for old school today. DP, how are you doing?
Good, bro. What's happening?
Oh, not too much. Pretty good weekend for me as a Celtics fan.
I can't cheer with that for you.
No, you're not a big Celtics fan.
You know that I can. You know that I can.
Whoa.
There's no way. There's nothing about that.
Why is that, DP?
Celtics fans make my skin crawl. Across the board.
Why is that?
I've said Bach and Tom. I've told Tom this clearly over the years.
Okay.
No.
What is it about the Celtics that you so disdain?
I fall in that lane with most Boston teams. As a matter of fact, all Boston teams.
The Bruins, even
Bruins, especially. They're just obnoxious.
Is it the city of Boston more so than anything?
That has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I always say I'm a Boston fan that's never been to Boston, and I'm not quite sure if I'd spend too much time there, other than the games that I'd want to go to.
I'm not.
It's a quagmire traffic wise.
Yeah,
Boston's horrible.
Yeah.
That's the mean people there.
Boston's just horrible.
Yeah,
and it's horrible that you guys here. It's 7:55. Okay. Usually the start time of the crossover is approximately 7:58 and a half a minute.
Well, Bach,
Bach, listen here, Bach. Listen here. This is
gonna be a little later.
This is what you need to get. Listen here. Creature of habit. We're just coming in off a holiday weekend. You can see the voice is hoarse. This is not acceptable, young man.
A little too early.
Right? Yeah, this is not acceptable. I know Jake probably didn't leave you with a lot of notes, because he's off gallivanting doing what Jake does.
You were late.
No, it's 7:57. Okay, I'm early. I'm on time. You know what I'm saying? So no, but back to Boston. Here's the funny thing about it. I was out there doing my Harvard program. The dude,
you're doing your Harvard program?
This is a long time ago. This is back when I had all my.
Is it called?
Is it called Follicles?
You didn't know that. You didn't know that.
Yeah. Is it called Follicles when you have all your stuff? That was faculties. Yeah. Well, anyways, I was taking a cab.
I don't have all my faculties.
I was taking a cab, right? Yeah. And the cab driver, I'm just asking about the city. He's like, oh, and he lives here. He lives there. He's like, this is a horrible city. It's the most racist city I've ever been in. He's like, don't go there, or you might not make it home. Yeah. This is okay. And I'm sitting there like.
Welcome to Boston.
Am I really hearing this? Because I've always thought, of course, playing the Patriots, they're intense fans, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But it's like a guy and I was like, well, how long have you lived here? He's like 25 years. And he's like,
he's not an ambassador.
Right, yeah. He wasn't an ambassador. Now, that's not indicative. I've met plenty of people that love Boston. Russ Holstein lives there. His wife is from there. He obviously played for the Patriots. He loves it. The city is cool, though. You know, just if you could just kind of go and explore the city.
You like that, DP? You like Boston?
There's got to be
I'm talking about sports
I
teams,
yeah.
sites, seeing
Yeah,
the
if you're gonna go
water.
to ball games. You're gonna go to ball
Yeah,
games.
I'm talking about now interacting with people. Oh, you're related to Russ? Yeah, you guys kind of favor each other too.
Wait a second. You related to Russ Holstein?
Gus is related to
So Gus, so since you're related to Russ, me and Russ fought 10 practices in a row. Okay. So me and you need to fight 14 days in a row. All right.
I'm not sure I'd survive that.
You
got some length. You got some arm length.
You Russ Holstein get into it?
Me, Russ, and Dom. Yeah. But that's when I knew those two were real deals. Now it wasn't like we didn't fight in the locker, but it's every day we mixed it up.
On the field.
Yeah. Because I wanted them to bring it. They wanted to prove themselves. They were kind of, young and upcoming pups, and they weren't backing down. They knew I went. So it was all in. I mean, if Russ walks in here, I'm giving a big bear hug. Dom, one of my best friends ever.
Interesting.
But
so back to Boston Celtics. DP, not a fan.
I'm not a fan because there's nothing culturally that led me to be a fan of the Boston Celtics. There's nothing.
It's hard though. The Celtics, right when they would do good things, Paul Pierce got beat up.
Yeah, like they would do. Okay,
You remember Paul Pierce, the guy that's the second? He's like
Yeah.
the Black Larry Bird, right?
Yeah, and
He is in Boston, and him and his buddy they got demolished. He had to play a game with like two black eyes.
like Bill Russell. So Bill Russell and John Thompson were really good friends, and Red Auerbach was a DC guy. So they would be around DC as I was coming up, and then as I got into the sports business, those were people that I was around, and I would hear them, and they would tell the most horrific stories about Boston sports fans, and I kept waiting for them to change my perception of them, and they never did.
They are who they are, but you got to respect that though.
They never did. They are who they are, and I'm cool. And look, they don't need me to justify or validate them being Celtics fans.
Yeah.
But
Hey, Bach, are you okay over
it
there?
was
I'm
just,
fine.
Are you're Boston all the way?
I'm a Red Sox and Celtics fan.
Yeah, but he's also an Arizona Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
So, like,
I just picked some
so
teams.
I get.
I like it though. You just said, you know what? I'm off the beaten path.
Yeah, I don't. Well, there's no local teams in Nebraska, so it's just kind of whoever. Drew me in as a kid.
And that's I admire that.
And I have a ton of friends who like my best friends who are Celtics and Pats fans and Red Sox fans, and the hypocrisy of it was listening to Boston sports fans just hate on New York for they buy championships and they do all of this, and I'm like, so your response to the people you hate is become them. Wow. Wow.
You can't beat them, join them.
Right. Like it was just that. Okay, so how are we going to do it? And they go and do it. And they don't need me.
But can you separate
They don't need
being, I guess, a fan or respect Celtics teams and players versus the fans? Because I think
versus the city.
Because one of the coolest people I ever met in my life was Gerald Henderson Sr., who played with the Celtics. Then he played with the Bad Boys, with Detroit.
Gerald Henderson.
And
Gerald Henderson.
Guard.
Did that kind of just
guard?
Did it just?
Yeah.
Did we have tape delay, or did it just? Were you just speaking it into existence?
Well, that's how that was being done.
But it seemed like he spoke it into existence, hit off the ceiling, hit the floor, hit the ceiling, came right to his brain.
Gerald Henderson doesn't come to everybody's mind immediately.
Well, he doesn't, but he had a great career at Boston, and then he went to the Detroit, and he was a bad boy. So I was asking him about that, and he was like, "Look, man,
he lived 2 blocks from me."
He was like,
in college.
He's like, when you play for those teams, it's like it's the weird, and it's like, okay, if you're a Boston Celtic, Bruin, Red Sox, and if you're a minority African American, he's like, you got about a 70% chance of it being okay. He's like, but I feel for the people that live in the city of Boston. But he's like, once you're in that arena, like in the arena,
yeah.
He's like, the funny thing about it, once everybody walks into that arena, it's all gone. He's like, it's the weirdest thing ever. Well, not weird, but you know what I mean. It's like everything outside of the arena,
it's evident.
It's gone. But then once you get there, then he's like, when I went to Detroit, he's like, oh, the mechanic. I'm kicking it with the mechanic. I'm kicking it with the dude that's somehow never leaving the corner store. And then I'm kicking it with my neighbor that works for, at this time, he said like Ford Motor Company. He's like, it's all Detroit, Michigan against everybody.
Okay.
24/7.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
Let's pause
Gerald
real quick.
Henderson.
10 seconds for station identification, and we'll be right back.
This is Lincoln's home for
He had
sports
told
talk
me.
on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Kind of like how they would be physical from Boston.
Okay.
Now everybody says that, you know, Chuck.
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah, we're back here on early break. Just talking to some Gerald Henderson, actually.
Gerald
He's throwing nothing but change ups, and he's like he's the Michigan pitcher over here. He's going for substance in his glove.
Hey, I was gonna let you finish what you were saying, but then we were back on air, so I was like, we'll just throw it back up and see
It's
what
really old school when we're talking Gerald Henderson, by the way.
I do want to ask this.
That's
to you
really
guys.
old
Well,
school.
he's my era.
But his son play. I mean, it is.
So when did he play for the Celtics exactly?
So I want to say he got to them in 86.
86. So
he was there. He was there with
he was
Bird.
supposed. Yeah, he was supposed to
tail
come in
into
and
Bird
and give Danny Ainge help.
Right.
And he did,
because Danny Ainge was a guard at the time.
Well, Danny, but Danny would always get in trouble. Danny would get teed up, he'd get thrown out for being over aggressive, and then
Or get beat up.
Yeah, or somebody would punch him, and then Gerald would have to come in and kind of change the pace. But it also gave them a different energy.
Version.
Yeah, a different
I remember.
vibe.
Now I remember. It's coming back.
So and
You got it now.
Gerald-
Tape delay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Jay Jay calls me tape delay.
Oh,
because it takes me a while sometimes. It
I
does.
worry
I did.
Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
about you.
I want to ask you guys this because I've wondered this growing up and becoming a Celtics fan. Is that in the 80s when there was Bird versus Magic, was there a racial sighting with that too? Kind of just
yes.
culturally.
I was going to say no. Was there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
that was.
yeah.
I mean, it was done like. There's a lot of marketing and branding that
Made it that way.
But was built on that. You know, and it started with Bird Magic in college, and it was
right.
You know, the style of certain style of play, and Bird does it the right way, and Magic is doing all this other stuff that we hadn't seen. And he was bringing street ball, and when people use that phrase again back in 1980, Magic plays street ball. The Lakers are playing street ball, and the Celtics were the traditional do everything right because Red Auerbach would stand over the edge with Tom Heinsohn and yell about, listen, this is the way the footwork works and this is how this is done. And then in the league, in East Coast, West Coast, and Boston versus LA, and Showtime.
And the difference of the teams
fan
when they just walked out on the court, the Lakers had more African American players. Celtics didn't.
They had more white guys.
They had Kevin McHale and Larry Bird and Danny Ainge, and
they had the
DJ
Chief
and guys.
They had the Chief and they had Cornbread Maxwell.
But you understand.
Cornbread was coming off the bench because his name was Cornbread. Now they did have Dennis Johnson.
Yeah,
they had DJ.
Yeah,
well, he was light skinned, brother light skinned.
Yeah, he had freckles. Chief,
brother light skinned.
Robert Parrish.
Yeah.
No,
Right,
but
yeah.
Chief.
We're thinking too hard how many brothers Celtics had.
Right. The point is there was clearly
like Chief wasn't like amongst brothers. Chief wasn't a fan, a brother's favorite.
But I always wondered
He's
that.
from Louisiana.
No, you don't understand.
He a cornball.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
The Chief was
Chief was not cool. There's nothing cool about Robert Parrish. Nothing cool. There was no coolness to it.
But he had them hands though.
Right. Well, he was. But that was just it. Like he was sent after
Beerland beer and all
players.
that.
He was sent after players. If things got out of hand, he was the guy that was sent after other players to get it right. And they didn't like him in Boston. Like, I mean,
they used to dog Robert Parrish a
They were
lot.
terrible to him.
Outside of the basketball
yeah, they were terrible to him.
organization.
They were
The
terrible.
fan base and
They
stuff
were
like
were
that.
terrible. They were terrible. I mean, again, how they treated Bill Russell, I still haven't recovered from. Like how they treated him was just terrible.
Bach, you still a Celtics fan right now?
I am, but again, it was always because I wondered that because it was like I don't want people to get the wrong idea, right? If I'm walking around with a Celtics hat,
That's
I don't know if that was ever the
no,
case.
no, no.
But
No,
I'm saying back in the day, was
No.
that something that if you saw somebody in the '80s with a Celtics gear on, you'd go,
You might have, but that's small-minded. I mean, it
Yeah.
was just
It wasn't
built
that
up.
serious.
But then you know what really helped bridge that gap, to be honest with you, and I just watched the whole deal on this weekend, was actually Magic and Bird doing that Converse commercial. And then they are the best of friends. And so that kind of just dissipated all that.
Yeah.
But it's all, network driven. I mean, there was obviously, because Boston back then, there was racial undertones for athletes and just African American back. I mean, it was more intense out there versus LA was you had my man Michael Cooper coming off the bench, Michael Thompson. I mean, heck, the only dude I can think of,
white dude,
the white dude was my man Kurt Rambis, and he was roguish as
They had four. They had another big 52. They had another. No, not 52. 50.
54 or something like that.
Yeah, they had another. They had some dudes.
Yeah, but see, like when you got to close your eyes and think and look up there, like at the end of the day, Michael Thompson was backing up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
And you know who Michael Thompson's son
Well,
is, right?
So it was Mitch Kupchak before that.
Do you know, Sip? Hold on. We got break the press. Do you know who Michael Thompson's son is?
Michael Thompson Jr.
Good guess. He might have a son named that too.
You don't know who his son is?
That is.
Hold on, DP.
Don't do it.
Let's stop the press
Michael
here.
Thompson's son? No, I don't know.
Go ahead, get him, Jay.
Get him.
Get him.
Just get me.
Get him, man.
Clay.
Ooh.
That right there needs to be a sound drop right there. Ooh.
Ooh.
Clay Thompson.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, see, now we're getting it.
Right?
That makes sense.
Does it make
Michael
sense?
show up a lot? Is he around a lot?
Yeah, he does TV and radio. He's quite involved with the NBA, Sip.
Okay.
You do not remember when he was drafted and he was standing right.
No.
You never seen it? Oh, okay.
No, I don't remember that.
Do you know
He
who
played for
Steph
the
Curry's
Gophers.
dad is?
Yeah, it's Dell.
Okay. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
I
make
remember
sure.
Dell Curry very well as a shooter. And I remember Thompson as a player. I just didn't put it together that he was Clay's dad.
They have the same last name.
Well, Thompson's
common
pretty
last
normal.
name,
Yeah,
right?
Thompson's pretty common. More common.
Yeah,
Curry.
that's true.
More common Curry. Don't worry about me, DP. I'm fine.
I'm just here spectating.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm
You
just
sure?
here spectating.
Yeah.
Are we here? Are we back on the way? I mean, I know you probably had a long weekend. And,
I did have a long weekend.
But
and I didn't cover the NBA growing up. I mean, I just was an NBA fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't covering it either. When I was
Well,
growing
nobody
up.
was covering
I
it, but
never
did you
covered
watch
it
the
up like
NBA?
that.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it. And I took a break. I probably took a big break starting, I don't know, like when I was really covering you guys. I wasn't following the NBA.
So
all
during the
that
Jordan
close.
years, you
Was that
No, Jordan years. I wasn't into it all that much. I was obviously aware of Jordan and all that, but it was probably when I followed it most closely was during the 80s, 70s and 80s.
So pretty much when the Celtics were
Yeah.
doing okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how
So
many?
I remember
how many days of depression did you have when the Lakers was running those guys off the court?
Didn't bother me. I didn't mind the I didn't mind the Lakers. Especially Showtime Lakers. I didn't mind.
Yeah.
I loved Worthy.
People forget.
I love Kareem. I mean, I wanted the Celtics to win, but it wasn't like I had animosity toward the Lakers. I liked them. I like
Right.
Magic. I love the Magic. And I got to tell you, the race thing never even entered my mind when it was Bird at Indiana State and Magic in East Lansing. It didn't. I never thought of that. Now I was just a Midwestern kid, and I didn't think of things
Who
on
did
that
you root
level.
for? Indiana State and Michigan State.
It was. I was just captivated by the whole thing.
Right.
But it wasn't the race thing. I got to tell you, never really even entered my mind.
You know, it really ramped up because Larry Bird tells the story, or it was actually Cedric Maxwell and another guy we're talking about. They interviewed them before, I guess, their training camp. And they was like, "Oh, he just an average." They was like, "He just an average white guy, right?"
Yeah, I didn't.
Hold on, they said he's an average white guy. So Cedric Maxwell was like, "Oh yeah, the first 3 times down the court, jumper to the hoop, deep jumper." And then he's like, "Oh, I got to stretch out. I got to start guarding this dude, right?" Well, 8 times in a row, he tearing them up. They said he wouldn't talk to each other. Like, hey, this white guy can play, right?
Bird was more athletic than people.
Well,
gave
we
credit
had.
for,
Well,
too.
we hadn't.
He was.
Seen,
Yeah.
We hadn't.
He was
seen
more athletic
anything.
than.
6'8",
We
6'9".
had not seen anything like Larry Bird. Nobody had.
No,
nobody had.
Or Magic.
So right.
Let me
like,
think about that.
So the change.
You
in
hadn't
this thing,
seen.
There was never a Larry Bird before Larry Bird.
wasn't.
Like there was never a guy who at his
6'9"
height who ran the floor, ball handled. I mean, he was a point
Pass.
forward. He
Freaky
was a point
passer.
forward. He could. Where we accepted a different level was when he would take some of Magic's game and make it a part of, like they talked about the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Where they were playing together, Bird and Magic were playing together, and they said they realized they were throwing each other's passes back at each other.
Bird was flashy,
right?
Playing
And then-
homage to it, yeah.
right. That he could do this thing for the Indiana kid. You weren't expecting that style of play would reach middle of the country.
No, Maravich as a guard was sort of like that, but not a 6'9".
He
guy.
was flashy.
Yeah.
He would dribble 80 times and break you down and all that. But those two guys played the same. I mean, you got to think. 2 human beings getting drafted at 6'8", 6'9", Magic 6'9", Bird. If you ever met Larry,
6'10".
Yeah, if you ever met
6'9".
Larry Bird,
yeah,
you don't realize how big he is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So for him to be moving at that rate and to being able to do, and then to shoot, for threes,
We got the so we like in that time we got the story. We knew about Bird as a basketball player, but my first introduction to him was as a baseball player.
Really?
And so Bird actually played some college baseball games at Indiana State.
Did he?
And we knew, okay, he's an athlete who happens to be really good at basketball.
Super good athlete, yeah.
Right? Who's really good at basketball. There are guys, I mean, before him who played the crossover sort of game, but there weren't any that did all the things required as well as Larry Bird. I'm not sure that we'd have to search. I'm not sure we could say that there's ever been another Larry Bird.
Is Jokic sort of like that?
No. He's close, but not. Larry Bird.
If Luka was in the league back in that time,
it might be.
He would have played in that space.
Yeah.
6'6" though. He's
Well,
only
but,
6'6".
but I'm saying, so a guy of size who can post up, who can play the perimeter, can hit the jumper, can also beat you in transition, and then made high IQ. The difference between Bird and Doncic is that Bird made high IQ defensive plays,
And he's 6'9".
and Doncic.
And he's 6. I'm put
Wants
3
no more.
inches on Luka.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you had seen a guy at 6'9" who carried all the 6'6" traits.
Yes.
Right. And
So-
and Larry
George Gervin, close.
That's not a bad one.
Well,
didn't pass like those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
George
Didn't
Gervin
pass
was trying
like
to
those
light
guys.
you up like a Christmas
Yeah,
tree.
he didn't. He wasn't.
Gervin was a greater pure scorer.
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
Bird was.
He
was
wasn't
actually-
well rounded like Bird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, I would.
I wouldn't say that. No, I saw Gervin when he was with the Virginia.
I know
Squires.
Gervin.
And understand what he did in San Antonio. He had to play next to Artis Gilmore, and they were tough to defend. They were tough to score against. They were extremely tough to score against. Why? Because Gervin's length was unique.
I remember those
for
two.
that time. And
Yeah.
guys like him, Donald Hillman, Julius Ervin.
That's
like,
my
you
brother's
played-
favorite
If
team.
you played small forward back in that day with David Thompson and all them dudes, right?
See the difference that Bird that completely separates. And I just saw someone, they had a, I don't know, like a round table there between like Isaiah Thomas and even like Steph Curry it was Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie, right? And Steph Curry is that the ability to lock people down on defense separates those guys because offensively, they might be a tick up and Joker isn't better than Larry Bird, but Larry Bird's not going to let Draymond Green totally annihilate him for 4 games.
No
Larry
way.
Bird's not going to
No
let
way.
somebody just take, score 30 on them, and he might score 35. That's the biggest difference. Where even when you watch these guys, like the Reggie Millers in that time of era, those guys were scoring 24, 25 points a game, but they were making sure if they were guarding like me or somebody like that you're only scoring like 10. So
they were tougher.
They were, yeah, and it meant more.
Oh, listen, that Celtics team, the thing about Bird defensively on that team, again, he had McHale and his 6'11" length and Frankenstein arms, right? So he had the super long arms. He could scratch his ankles while standing up. Robert Parrish, who didn't let nobody in the space. Dennis Johnson is one of the greatest defensive players in NBA history. And then Danny Ainge, his job was at the peak of this thing was to agitate and stir up nonsense. And then, just for grins and giggles, ML Carr would come off the bench and Cornbread Maxwell.
He's a brother.
And they would just run you through.
ML Carr.
Like they would bang you around.
And then they picked up Bill Walton and got like the best 5-8 minutes of Bill Walton ever.
Yeah.
See, I agree with you. I'm surprised. It's always surprising when I hear it. Those teams were tougher. I believe that.
Oh,
like there's a different brand of basketball.
It's
it was.
It's different. And they're tougher.
Yeah.
Well, today's more about spacing than toughness. Although the teams in the finals are very tough and defensive minded.
They are.
Yeah.
That's Bach. I totally agree with you.
These two
the
teams
best two
like
teams,
to play. They'll play some D.
Yeah. Well, the best two defensive teams in the NBA, statistically.
Yeah.
Statistically.
Well, we better wrap it up. I don't know what time do you guys
school.
usually wrap this up. I'm not really sure, but
8:20.
Yes, it makes enough sense.
Good job. Hey, Bach, I gotta publicly thank you again for filling in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
It's
I
always
had a
fun
blast.
with
I
you.
always do.
God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. We're about wrapping it up right here on early break. Thanks to DP and Jay for jumping in with us. Old School, of course, is coming up next. I'll be back for my shows later in the day as well. The Ticket Water Cooler and On the Block later today. But we'd like to thank you. Also, Jake Sorensen will be back tomorrow. And he could run through the Lindy's magazine.
He's got a lot of crazy thoughts.
You're gonna have to hear about his favorite band, Sister Hazel.
Oh, he did go to he saw his pants. All right, well, we'll take a quick break, and Old School will be on next year on 93.7 The Ticket.